Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for yet another match of round 6 of Super Rugby Pacific. We just witnessed for the first time in the competition Golden Point. It was very exciting to see it go right down to the wire. And in that match, we've had a little bit of a change now to the table, which we will show in a very short moment. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty more Super Rugby coming for this weekend. And also, just in general, we are covering a majority of the games. So if you guys are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But first of all, looking through at the table and seeing what that last game did. As you can see there, Moana Pacifica, they are no longer the side with no wins. They move away from the Highlanders and also the Rebels, and they are now sitting in 10 points, or sitting in 10th, I should say, on 4 points after their monumental win up against the Hurricanes. History-making win for themselves as well, I will mention. But it was a very impressive performance from them, and now that has helped them propel themselves a little bit further up the table. This game is between the Drua and the Rebels. So both of these sides will be looking to try and get themselves as far up the table as physically possible. But it's not going to be easy because both of these sides will play a hard-hitting game of rugby that will make it a very closely contested one as well. But this is the home side for this match. We have got Bolivar Nakatoa, says Mr. Billy. Welcome into the live stream, mate, and hi from Jason. Hope you guys are doing well. And do let me know, who do you think will end up winning this game? But this is the starting lineup here for the Rebels. It is Matt Gibbon, Jordan Ulysses, and Kobus Eloff. They are the front row that they have decided to go with. Matt Phillip and Josh Hill as the two locks. Brad Wilkin, Richard Hardwick, he's been having a very good season so far, alongside Michael Wells as the number 8. James Tuttle slots in at scrum half for this game, and Matt Tamua once again gets a nod to start at 10. Glenn Vaihu, he's been impressive out on the wing. The first run of the game up against the Rebels in the last game, or for the Rebels, I should say, he just ran straight through everyone. And come on the draw. And there says Jan Lua, and also we've got that hi from Ellie. Welcome in to the live stream. But Ray Nuu and Stacey Ely, they will be the midfield combo that they are going to be going with. Andrew Callaway is yet to really find his feet this season in Super Rugby. He was very impressive for the Wallabies. He was very impressive last season, but now does have that new task of trying to find his form at a club that is struggling at the moment in the Rebels, and they will know that for themselves. They will want to try and improve and hope to get themselves their first win of the season. Reece Hodge, he is a very capable individual, and he will be slotting in at number 15 for this game in Rebels. From Jason for who he thinks will be able to win this game. They actually come in as the favourites, the Rebels, for this matchup. So, yeah, it would be a decent prediction there. I'm just going to rotate my chair a little bit as I am slightly off to the side, but this is the Fijian Drua lineup that they have decided to go with. It is going to be Kuroi Duadua, in the front row, Togi Otama and Uria Kepa as the front row. Then it is going to be Tui Falelele there at number 4 and Charika DeVita at number 5. I always talk about the fact that this man in the Bunnings NPC was absolutely tearing it up for Tasman, and some pretty tough competition at Tasman in that Bunnings NPC competition. You're looking at Hugh Renton, Shannon Frizzell, believe Marino Mikaeli too. No, in fact, he's Hawke's Bay. But he has got still some very challenging opposition and teammates that he does have to try and get above in that competition. Tamani at 6, Nagusa at number 8, and then Mira will once again be there at number 7. Frank Lamani gets a start. Now, this man is exciting to watch. He was playing for the Rebels not too long ago. Also has been playing in the Gallagher Premiership for the Northampton Saints. Now back where he belongs at the Fijian Drua. And hopefully he does have a very good game. Tititella starts at number 10. And then it will be Ravovo at 12. And then Avota on his outside at number 13. Has been a good combo for the Fijian Drua throughout this season. Ravo Tamada, out on the right wing. Habosi out on the other. And Ratu gets a slot in at number 15. That is Kitty Oniratu. It's looking very dangerous as well. Where's Baden Kerr? I assume either injured or there it is. Baden Kerr knee injury at this stage. And Baden Kerr is probably the forwards coach this week. And this is Sebastian. And also we have got there out of the running for 5K. Well done, Moana Pacifica. Oh, so you had the Hurricanes to win that game. Yeah, it was a brilliant performance from the Pacifica side in the end. And I know that you wouldn't be the only person who lost money for that matchup. A lot of people would have been back in the Hurricanes. I know that 13 plus for them to win that game by 13 points was paying about $1.13. So there would have been thousands put on the Hurricanes that all disappeared very quickly. And Andrew Callaway and Reece Hodge, though they can still produce something for the Rebels on that right wing. That is true. And also Vaihu out on the other side. Another player to watch out for. And also Moana Wow, Danny Tuala, man of the match. And there says Max Cottle. I believe, was it Danny Tuala who scored that final try? Or was it instead actually Paya who was the replacement? I'm disappointed. And there says Petty and also didn't put any money on. So at least there's that. That is true. Yeah, at least you didn't actually spend your own kind of money. Although, of course, it would have been lovely to get that 5,000. But these are the two benches that the two sides have gone with for that match. It is going to be Hansen, Cameron Orr, and also Van Nick as the front row replacement for the Rebels. Then it's going to be Maiva there at number 19, a name that we haven't seen too much of throughout this season so far. Sam Willis at number 20, Joe Powell, Carter Gordon, and George Worth. They are the rest of the replacements here for the Rebels. Ikanaveri there for the Fijian Drua. Also, it will be Hatit getting another opportunity. Tawake, Nasila Sawala, or Salawa, sorry, Matawalu, Caleb Muntz, he is back in the side. And then it is Matatiwa there at number 23. We'll be closing out the starting lineup and reserves for the Fijian Drua. Oh, and I'm off to the Chiefs game tomorrow. I did hear a little rumor. Hopefully you do enjoy it. And yeah, it will be very interesting. But surely the Golden Point doesn't count as the bookies. It's regarded as a draw, isn't it? I don't believe so. I think it's only if it's a draw at the end of the Golden Point, so an extra 10 minutes on top of it, which is why the odds for a draw in Super Rugby are so much higher than a few of the other competitions around the world. I believe near those closing moments, a draw was paying about $26 compared to Moana Pacifica to make up 7 points and get the win was paying, I think it was 16 or something along those lines. So it is a little bit different. Enjoy the Chiefs game, Nov Mum there. And yeah, hopefully, who knows, maybe a wave at us we might see on the sideline at some stage. Don't run out onto the field though, because yes, we might see you, but it will mean that you're probably not allowed back for that one. So highly recommend no pitch invading at this stage. But the Fijian Drua, they're wearing the white for this matchup. Although that's the thing, I never quite understand wearing a white kit, because as soon as you go to ground, you just make it dirty anyway. So it's like, why doesn't it just start off in the grey rather than being pure, clean white? Although it's a good way for the coaches to indicate who's doing nothing, because anyone who's not dirty at all, you can tell he hasn't got into a breakdown. He hasn't taken contact. The Rebels, they are the home side for this team. They are the home team for this match, was what I was trying to say there. I got very confused for myself, but I've got a good starting lineup, good reserves bench for this game, and I'm taking my 14-year-old with me. And yeah, is it his first game, or have you been to quite a few in the past, Nov Mum? Because I feel like that's the thing. FMG Stadium having a bit of a crowd, getting to watch the Crusaders versus Chiefs is going to be awesome, because in football, they only count the result after 90 minutes. They don't consider the extra halves and penalties. I see. So I guess maybe it depends on the competition that you're kind of covering. Although I know that there's an option on the TAB for who's going to win the match, and then there's also an option for a result. So maybe if you put in the result section that it's going to be a draw and it's a draw after 80, then you get that. But if you put that it's going to be someone winning, then whoever wins in Golden Point, I guess you get that maybe. And we've been to a few together. And there says Nov Mum. Yeah, hopefully it will be a very good performance from the Chiefs. They've got some good players playing in that matchup. We are going to be releasing our lineup video a little bit earlier on in the morning tomorrow, I believe it is. But the Fijian Drua currently, once again, singing with passion in the changing room. They have beaten the Rebels before. They were actually the first side that the Fijian Drua ever got themselves a win against in Super Rugby Pacific. But now they are about to make their way out onto the field. 9:45 is when they're supposed to be kicking off, but I have learned one thing about Australian Super Rugby, and that is always given an extra 5 minutes, and then they normally make their way out onto the field. But it is almost, actually, the cricket is back on currently. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see what the score is sitting. I know that Pakistan really went into their shell in the last little while, so I'm hoping that won't be the case for the later stages of that game. But if it is, we have still got our last session that we will be covering of that game. Currently, Pakistan actually 3 down, and it is the wicket of Imam Al-Haq, who did lose his wicket just earlier on. Didn't actually have it open because I didn't realize they were coming back so soon, but that is the case. I wanted to sit in there, and also maybe like that, a different section. And there says Sebastian for that one as well. But now the Fijian Drua making their way out there. But Australia having Pakistan 3 down. There's still a chance for most results, but it was actually, was it the Fawad Alam? No, they're just showing his highlights of all the wickets that he has had, which is not ideal for himself. But the Fijian Drua, they're out on the field. The Rebels at home at AAMI Park. I know at least one of our subscribers who are at the game currently, and he has been a through and through Rebels supporter for a long time. And they don't seem to be quite getting the results together, but yet he keeps on going to the game, so you got to respect the commitment. And yeah, shout out to you, Xavier. Hope you are going to be enjoying this game. Hopefully the Rebels can put in a decent performance. Damn, Canes had to play bad. And there as well, says Paddy Wagon. And also, I think it was just a little bit of that decision-making overall, deciding that they didn't really want to go too attacking in the way that they were playing, or they wanted to go, too attacking, rather than taking on the 3-pointers, which in the end could have been the difference in the game. They decided that instead they wanted to really go for it, see what they could do in that one. And also maybe like that, different section, but it was Glenn Waihu last week. He did very nicely up against the Waratahs in round 5. Dangerous individual. And he will be looking to try and secure himself that number 11 jersey. I know that the Rebels, they've got a couple young wingers in the kind of in the mix, I should say. That AAMI Park, our venue tonight. It sure is, mate. I just called you mate. I don't think I've called you mate too many times in that kind of capacity. So it felt a little bit weird. I think I called you bro. You're always the one who I call like the first time. Or did I call you buddy? I called you buddy or bro or something like that, which threw me off for that one. But now currently this match about to be underway. The Fijian Drua up against the Rebels. Exciting. It is the Heritage round, and the Rebels will be kicking off this one from left to right at AAMI Park to get us underway. Taken nicely there by it was Vota at number 13. He had quite a few running meters last week as well. And sorry, after third wicket, I draw 50%, Australia 40%. And there's our stand. So the odds are slowly changing in that game, but we will be keeping an eye on it throughout this matchup as well. Now up to the 22 here for the Fijian Drua. Melbourne phase. To face, you call me buddy. I was just as surprised as you were as well, Sebastian, for that one as well. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I sometimes instinctively say mate, but anytime it's like anything other than mate, I always throw myself off. Like buddy is something I don't think I've ever used other than that one time. It's going to be stripped there by the Rebels. Now taken away. I see that it's not actually Joe Powell who is in the starting lineup. Instead, they have got not even Frank Lamani. Oh, sorry, Frank Lamani's playing for the other side, isn't he? It is actually going to be James Tuttle, I should say, for that one. Now currently the Fijian Drua, they have to defend here once again. Big hit there on the number 1, Matt Gibbon. Around the side, Tuttle, nice pop pass up to Richard Hardwick. Gets straight back to his feet. Goes again, but he's not allowed to, as he was held, and that's going to be the penalty now for the Fijian Drua. Good start to the match for them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the later stages. We always thought at the early stage of this competition, the Fijian Drua, eventually they would end up, I guess, fatiguing. They never did last week. They just kept on going and going and going. And was that the only one time, was that the only one time in your life using the word pretty much, other than, I guess, in like either like, I guess, quoting a movie or something like that, or something along those lines? I've never called someone buddy. I don't even think I've called anyone bud. So yeah, it was a very special moment, I guess you could say. But total lineouts 14 last week for only a win percentage of 57. It just shows how strong the Western Force can be at lineout time. Nicely taken by it was Ravatalmada. Now continuing to drive their way forward here, the Fijian Drua. And also Hamish will have New Zealand match or not. Unfortunately, not tonight, but maybe in the future they may end up trying to reschedule it if they do get the time. But if not, then I guess we do miss out on that T20, sadly. Frank Lamani now, pop pass doesn't quite work out. Geez, that was a massive swing and foot from Cobus Eloff, who's after the ball. He's been sensational in the last little while. Now, Vota's got this only about 10 metres out from the line. Cobus Eloff misses that tackle, spinning his way out. Now, inside of their 22, we've broken a barrier there, certainly. And there's Sebastian. Yeah, see, I don't like, that's the thing. I don't think I've ever called George buddy or anything along those lines. I don't even think I've called him mate, to be fair. I think I just call him George. That man's going backwards there for Cameron Orr. In fact, sorry, he's not out on the field as of yet. It was Matt Gibbon, but there's a lot of pressure from the Fijian Drua right now on the breakdowns. Now it's going back for Matt Phillip. Ta'amua goes back across to Resoch. Stacey Ely now with a bit of drawing pass. Does a kick him behind. Andrew Callaway going to be chasing this one hard. It just curls into touch. And also has the best supported Australian Super Rugby team. I'd say probably, yeah, it's a tricky one. You're probably looking at the Reds, I would say, just because they seem to be the pick of the bunch. Also, Brumbies get some very good support, though, in recent time. And then probably, I mean, to be fair, Fijian Drua is probably right up there now with the fact that they are in the Super Rugby competition, if you do count them as an Australian side, that is. If not, then, yeah, I would say it's probably more. Oh, that's nicely taken there by Habose, as that his ankle's taken out from underneath him now. Frank Lamani fires it back to Tititella. Now kicks it downfield, 40 metres out from the line. Reese Hodge takes it now. He's got another opportunity for the Rebels. Going straight through. Ball on the inside now, trying to link up. Flicked out the back. And it does sit up very nicely for Stacey Ely with a good step, getting closer and closer to the line now here for the Rebels. Now Tuttle fires it back. Matamua Now off to Koba Seeloff, straight into with the run, the big man. He is just sensational at running the ball for someone who's supposed to be a tight air pro. I don't think he realizes he's supposed to be more along the lines of in the breakdowns rather than running it everywhere that he goes. Now, Matt Phillip tries to go around the side, smashed in the tackle by Ulia Kepa, who did line him up nice and early. Now, Matt Gibbon gets another carry forward up to 6 phases now here for the Rebels, and they continue to build phase after phase after phase. Research now wide ball out to Stacey Ely. Little bit of a slip. Hardwick. Ball on the outside. Vaihu tries to spin. Out to Andrew Kellaway now 5 meters out. It looks like he's going to be held up. Or is he? He's found the flick back. Stacey Ely gives it off to Research. And they are still right there. Only a couple meters out from the line. I'm looking around for the first receiver. Tuttle passes it off. Now it's short. It goes straight out to Matt Phillip. He stretches. He scores. And Matt Phillip started. He scored the opening try of the match for the Rebels. Ideal start for them here. Also, they seem to have a good crowd considering they're not great. This is Fletcher New. They seem to have, I guess, a committed fan base, seeing as it is in Perth. And I guess they don't really get too much rugby in Perth overall, unfortunately, just because there is only that one side. And it's a bit of a trip out to the side or down south of the country, isn't it? Where's Perth? No, it's out Western Australia. Sorry. Marking up me geography there. But the Rebels, they score themselves a try. Rebels try score it, and it is going to be Matt Phillip. Does end up scoring it. Phillip with 2 L's or 1? I think he's a 1 L boy. Yes, he is. Matt Phillip scoring in the 5th minute of the game. And now that is a dream start to the match for the FIJIAN Drua. Sorry, for the Rebels. And that one in New South Wales is the state with the biggest population, but rugby league is more popular there than Union. It might be Queensland. And there's St. Sebastian as well. But yeah, massive moment for the Rebels because they have been struggling this year. It is, I guess, fair to say at this point in time, but that is a good try to be able to get for themselves. Now, Tuttle was a nice pass out to Matt Phillip. We've seen quite a few tries so far throughout this year. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. Who was that? I think that was Frank Lamani. Just ended up standing on the fingers of Matt Phillip when he put the ball over the line. I thought you weren't allowed to lead with your foot. And also we've got that 8 from Josh. And that one, if we are referring to the cricket, they do still need 7 more wickets. Bubba Razam sitting there on 26 off 53. Fawad Alam sitting there on 6 off 6. Not doing too badly for himself there as well. I'm quickly going to go like this. And it's just missed away to the side for Matt Samoa there. Would have liked to be able to put it over. It's one of those ones that if you get that kick over early on, it gives you your confidence as the goal kicker. But he seems to be 50-50 at the moment, although I like the fact that the Rebels are just keep on going. And also, we've got there, Josh is a mysterious lad, mate. He talks in codes. But sometimes I work out what they mean. Other times I don't really, but I just smile and wave. That's the best way to do it. Just ask the Penguins in Madagascar. Now, Matt Phillip finds the offload to Vaihu. Trying to spin his way out of the challenge. Has gone down just outside of his own 22 now. But I feel like he would be a decent man to pick for being able to score a try throughout this game, just because he's looking dangerous throughout the early stages and always makes a lot of meters for himself. Kicked him behind. It's a good kick. Downfield now, the Fijian Drua have to wait for that one to sit up. Ratu takes it nicely. The fullback now, but a draw and pass. There's a lot of space here now for Habosi down the wing. Kicks it up in the air. It's gone down. It's a kick on the full. That's out on the full, I believe. Smile and wave, boys. And there, St. Sebastian. Oh, that was Fawad Alam's last wicket that he did lose. I thought that there was another wicket in the cricket there for a second, but 8 minutes into this game, 5-0, Matt Tamua decided rather than waiting for that one to either find his hands or waiting for it to bounce, he just kicked it straight out on the full, on the volley, which I guess you'd have to say is quite impressive to be able to do as well while you're at it. But it was kicked downfield from Matt Tamua and did end up going into touch on the full, nicely taken there by the Fijian Drua, ripped away by the Rebels though. Now fired back into the pocket and Andrew Kellaway kicks it downfield. It was taken back, unable to find touch with that one. But now going to be setting up nicely for it is Kitione Ratu. Waits for a draw and pass, doesn't quite work out. It's a little knock on, brutal for them there, the Fijian Drua, as they just look like they were about to get themselves set for another attacking maneuver. This game, I think it's going to go very quickly. The next game that is happening for Super Rugby, it is going to be the game that has taken place between the Western Force and the Brumbies. We will be keeping you guys updated on that game, but also while that game is happening, we will be covering the cricket between Pakistan and Australia, as it is the final session of the day. Warriors win 16-12. Nice. Good job, the Warriors. I think they were actually favourites going into that game, which is something that we don't get to say too often for the Warriors. Overall, but a good win over the Tigers. And hopefully that pushes them up just a little bit further. And also we have got there Apostolomi Ledua. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. I said nice. And yeah, if I did get that pronunciation wrong, do let me know. And I will try my best to correct it. But what do you think the score will be at the end of this game? Do let me know. Can the Drua do it again? Currently, they are sitting in 9th on the table. The Rebels in 11th. But if the Drua win this game, they actually boost themselves, I believe, up to the top 8 in this one. It could be an exciting occasion for them if they can do so. Currently now, Frank Lamani just looking over the shoulder of Tuttle, trying to make him feel that presence. It's gone down in the front row. Let's go, Drua. And then says, Richard, it's turned into a straight penalty there. Right. This will test the Rebels here because we know in the past they'd take the 3 every day of the week. Do they go for this? Do they go for the corner? No, they're taking on the 3 again. They have not learnt too much at this point for the Rebels. It's been costing them quite a few times going for that 3, though, and past times, just because Matt Tamua hasn't been able to nail all the kicks in him. And there, as I said, Josh, and also it was an appalling game. Heaps of knock-ons, but well done by the Warriors in the end, says Sebastian. And I guess sometimes you just need a little bit of luck to go your way. The Warriors probably a team that don't know too much about that. Okay, surely they go upstairs here in the cricket, unless, of course, he's hit it. Because I gave it out there, which is why I had my finger up in the air. For anyone who was wondering why I was randomly pointing at the sky. They're going upstairs here for the Australians to see whether or not they can get themselves their 4th wicket of the match now. But Matt Tamoa lining up, and he goes in for Mysterious. Now Matt Tamoa strikes it. He has got that one over. And now the score is going to be 8-0 in favour of the Melbourne Rebels. Great start to the match for them this point in time. Looking through the crowd for Xavier. Didn't quite see him there. Right, did he inside edge this? He did. Okay, that's why he's not out. So that's going to be not out in that one for Pakistan, which is good news for themselves if they do want to keep themselves going forward. But it did go off the inside edge. Now kicked off here by the Fijian Drua. Titatela kicks it down deep. Now Vaihu takes it. Looks for the draw pass. He's going by himself here, Vaihu. He's got the man on the outside. It's actually Kobus Eloff, who is always there. Richard Hardwick now, but this is a counter-attack and play here for the Rebels. Vaihu off kickoff. You've got to make sure you shut him down earlier as he just goes straight through you. So now Matt Tamua kicks it in behind, looking for the 50-22. It's close to the touchline. He fins it back into the field of play. Now going down only a couple metres out from the line. A lot of pressure from Andrew Callaway here. And the Fijian Drua just need to make sure that they try and protect this ball. The odds on Rebels was way too high for me. They almost beat Waratahs. They are the better side here by some margin for me, even though they are the West Australian team. Rebels win for me 100%. And there says Jack there. Frank Lamani fires the ball back. Goes straight into the hands of Mira. And now looking for the clearing kicking opportunity. Matt Phillip goes straight over the middle of the breakdown. Shadow Hamilton. There says Tame. But now Frank Lamani has been told to use it. Puts up the box kick. Looks for the touchline. And does do so very nicely. So currently 12 minutes into this game. And it has been all Rebels. Frank Lamani actually up against his old side here in this game. It will be very interesting to see whether or not he knows a few of the tactics that the Rebels may use. As I guess they're probably the side that haven't changed what they do the most. I guess you could say it's always the 3-pointers that they do go for, which is normally what the opposition does expect. But Richard Hardwick, I should say there, now charging his way forward. Tuttle off to Johnny Olesi. He's actually had quite a few injury issues throughout this season. Driving forward once again, it was big number 1. And I believe that would have been Matt Gibbon. Now Matt Tamua off to Kobus. Eloff drops there, Drua all the way. There's Richard there once again around the side. Matt Gibbon tries to get up, goes again. Waiting for the ball now. It is going to be the big man Hall at number 5, or Josh Hill, sorry, I should say. That one now getting closer and closer. I don't believe they've got the advantage as of yet from the referee for any offside. Kobus Eloff wrestled down. That was by Frank Lamani. Now around the side for Gibbon once again. D in there. It's going to be the penalty to the Fijian Drua, though. And one carry too many is the comment there. But big Ulia Kepa, he's a dangerous man in a breakdown. And it's just always able to cause all sorts of issues for the opposition side. But big Matt Tamua, or sorry, not big Matt Tamua, big Kobus Eloff. He's been very impressive throughout the Super Rugby, and D is for dubious. And there as well. There you go. That's a fancy word, isn't it? currently now. Pakistan seriously accelerating. They're getting really good. I do see that they are starting to smack it around a little bit, aren't they? As they almost lost that wicket for the third one. I got it out to the side of my screen, and we are going to be covering that final session of the day. Although not quite the whole session, we will be starting at about 11:45. But as soon as we start, we will be going right through to the end of the match, whether that is a draw, a win for Pakistan, or a win for the Australians. And now it'll be a good run forward here for the Fijian Drua. 45 metres out from the line. Frank Lamani lined up early from Jordan Ulesi. Now passing it out the back line. It's going to be big Salami, or Ipi Salomi, of what I should say. Now Frank Lamani, Charika Davidas just put the ball down. Now it's going to be the two props after it. That's the thing. The Rebels probably have the most athletic props, I would argue, in the competition. They're always like the first ones chasing after a ball. Cobus Eloff there. And also it was Matt Gibbon as the other man who was well and truly given it 110%. Trying to chase after that ball also, but we will go like this. And we will go like this as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We have got plenty more Super Rugby coming. And does Matt Tamua have Samoan or Tongan heritage? Oh, it's a brilliant question. Matt Tamua. Oh, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Tamua. And Teni Alatupa, that is true. Teni Alatupa does cover a lot of ground. Who's the number one? I guess it's Dane Zander, isn't it? So maybe the number one for the Rebels helps make up for a little bit. But yeah, Teni Alatupa, definitely a dangerous individual with the ball in hand. And also, I disagree there, mate. Drua have a few close losses and beat Rebels. I have been better. And also, how you going, brother? You would have been pumped with the Pacifica Canes game. And great to see the Island Nations doing well. Exactly right. And it was like golden point in its own right. It's just huge. But then as soon as it's the underdog, who were like way underdogs as well for that match, to be able to go through and get the win, it was just that next level. And I think I was pretty much shouting at that stage. But I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope you did enjoy the Q&A that we did put up on the channel. The viewers, from what I've heard from people in the live streams and everything, they did really enjoy it. And the casualness of the conversations as well, where we were just having a laid-back chat for that one. As Matt Tamua's an Abo, his father is Samoan and his mother is European, and there says Sebastian, and also come on Fiji Drua, and there says Jabez. But yeah, how do you think they'll go tomorrow, Maxi? Crusaders versus Chiefs at FMG Stadium. And also anyone who put money on Moana Pacifica would have come away with a nice win. They certainly would have. But that's the thing. I couldn't understand why they were so highly underdogs. Like, yes, the Hurricanes have been good, but Moana Pacifica, it was only going to be a matter of time until they found that momentum. And somehow it was in a game that they were down to 14 men for 20 minutes. They had a few other like penalty issues. They gave away like 15. Matt Tamua's going to go for another 3 points here by the looks of it after the scrum penalty for the Rebels. So I'm wondering how long they go for before they decide now's the time to stop going for threes and we'll start going for the corner. Nice commentary, man. Thanks for everything. As us, no worries at all, mate. We have got plenty more coming for rugby, cricket, football, NRL, you name it. It is coming up on this channel and also the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, which is a pin comment. So if you are new to that channel as well, be sure to check that one out. It's just getting closer and closer to the 1,000 subscribers over there. But Matt Tamua was successful, 1 from 2 tonight. Did miss his first kick of the day off the try of the Rebels number 4 in this game. Matt Phillip is Josh Hill, very young player. He is slotting alongside him, but 18 minutes in now, lining it up for Matt Tamua. That one's looking pretty good. And also Crusaders will bounce back surely here. I have a feeling like even though it's going to be a close game, the Crusaders, it's a very tough one to try and beat them twice. And the fact that they beat them at Orange Theory Stadium, I feel like their thing now, the Crusaders, will be, we want to beat you in your backyard type thing. So yeah, they'll either go out there and just go like pretty much passes, slinging all over the place and really attacking, or they will try and be a little bit more conservative up against the Chiefs and try and wear them down. But either way, they've got a good side to be able to probably do both, depending on what way they want to go. But now John O'Wells goes back to Matt Tamua. Resurge inside of the 22, kicks it downfield, looking for the touchline, but doesn't quite find it. Now Titatella takes it nicely, joining the line here. It was actually Ratu. He looks like he's having a bit of trouble with one of his legs. Not so much an injury, just one of them isn't quite balancing too well. And he keeps on almost slipping over. Maybe the sprigs aren't long enough for that man. And now it's going to be the big man, Charika Daveta. does carry his way forward. It's a penalty to the Rebels on the halfway line. Right. I would like to think from 50 metres out, if they're going for a kick, it would be Research. If they're not going for the kick, surely they go for the corner. Hopefully. At 12 minutes already, 8 points already in there. And actually, one moment we will go like this. It's actually fallen behind a little bit, my scoreboard. If I go like that, it's actually 19 minutes in and we're up to 11 points for this game. But yeah, it's looking like a fast-paced one between the two sides. And I like this from the Rebels. They went for the touchline. Now John O'Wells, or in fact, it's Mike Allwells firing it back in there. And now only 20 metres out around the side here once again. It's going to be Glenn White, who he's always about in a matchup. Matt Phillip now with the big fend over the top of Frank Lamani. Now Tuttle with the quick recycle ball. Nice little overlap. He almost ends up finding Research on the outside. Now only 5 metres out from the line here for the Rebels. Once again on attack. Quick hands out to Matt Phillip. He'd love to get himself a second. Doesn't normally score a try, let alone two. In the same game now to Moore. Going back, Stacey Ely, or in fact, it was their number 12 for this game, which is Ray Nu'u. Wasn't quite able to find that offload where he needed it. It's another penalty to the Fijian Drua. Very nicely done by them there. Oh, I hear. Oh, no, it's me, Mum. Hello, Mum. Currently 11-0 to the Rebels. Pakistan 3 down. Yeah. You think they're going to lose too many more wickets before the last session?
I hope not. But who knows what they are.
Currently, Pakistan sitting 163 for 3, with Babar Azam sitting 31 off 61. Forward is sitting there 11 off 16 for himself. But currently 21 minutes through this game, and I'm still on the fence because I feel like the Drua have got to try in them at some stage, whether it's the first half, whether it's early second. And how many do you think the Rebels score first half? Says Kijari. Are we talking exact points or tries? Do let me know, because I think they've got another try in them as well. We're only 20 minutes through this first half. But it's how many times they decide that they want to go for the 3 rather than the 7, I think, will be the big decider for how many points they can get for themselves. But currently 40 metres out, Tuttle goes back across to Matamoa. Skip pass out to Vai, who lined up and just goes into touch. Not a lot of space for him there. And points, Kijari. So I'll give them at least another 5. But it's difficult. Is it for like a betting number? Have you got like a certain number that it's like above and under? Or is it just in general? Because, yeah, my betting predictions are terrible. I'll admit, like, I normally get about 90% wrong for myself. It's now gone up nicely, taken by Charika Davita in the rolling ball here for the FIJIAN Drua flat border. Mira, who's dropped it now. It's a knock-on advantage once again. The hands are just not quite going well. And over 15. And there's Seski Jari. I'd say they get over 15 here. And that's first half. It's a kicker behind from Andrew Callaway. He puts the ball down there to protect El Ratu, and now it's going to be the goal line drop out, and also go Drew go. There's the YC there. Oh. Okay, they're just checking whether or not this is taken back. If it's taken back, it's going to be a tricky one because it will be a 5-metre scrum. If not taken back, though, Ratu will end up. Okay, so if he ends up touching this ball here, okay, he didn't touch it there. Okay, it is going to be a goal line dropout. It was close, though. Almost a little bit of a mistake made there. And also go, Drew, go. Says Waisia. So he's taking it inside. He does put it down, which does lead to the goal line dropout here for the Drua. 22 minutes into this game. 11-0 here for the Rebels. Oh, so there were over 100 people in last stream. It was amazing. And there says David, yeah, when it got to the golden point stage, it was certainly ramping up big time, which was absolutely incredible. But that's the thing, a golden point game, like it doesn't get much closer than that. And it may be the only golden point game we see for Super Rugby this year, I think. Although saying that, maybe we get to see a couple more in the next few rounds. Perhaps that's kind of the trend that they had for the Bunnings NBC was when you had one, you had a couple more kind of the next week. Now Tuttle going short. Matt Tamoa now with the draw pass out to Richard Hardwick. Tackle down low. Trying to get straight on the ball for the Fijian Drua. Unable to get the turnover. The ball is still available. Tuttle goes back across to Kobus. Elof, good run forward, spins and carries hard. At the line, Frank Lamani trying to get over the ball, unable to do so. Matt Tamoa now out to Reinu. Good attack and run from Michael Wells. Brilliantly done by the Fijian Drua, though. And now trying to get that draw past Ravovo. Going short side here. Got a couple men in numbers. I'm looking for Habosi, though, because he will be the man can possibly get them back into this contest. Now going back across, it's going to be big Mira at number 7. 45 metres out from their line now for the Fijian Drua. Oh. Okay, player holding him in there. We're going back for the knock-on is the call there as well. So the Fijian Drua will have themselves the scrum feed here. It was Michael Wells who had the ball, then it just popped out of his hands, maybe not holding it hard enough. But also when you got a Fijian smacking you in the ribcage, normally the only thing that does end up really happening is you just end up in pain or winded or injured or something along those lines. They hit hard, those Fijian boys, which is why it is always very exciting to see what they bring to Super Rugby. But the Rebels currently winning this game 11-0. They've started it a lot better than a few of their other matches, and also draw always starts slow, says Mr. Billy. That is true. Just look at their game up against the Reds, where they scored 3 tries in 5 minutes to almost steal that game at the death. That was absolutely incredible work from the Fijian Drua. And it seems to be just wearing down your opponent. The first 40 minutes or so, yes, they do concede quite a few points, but it's also about just enforcing that physicality that they bring to a matchup. And then after that, when they've started wearing down the opponent, then that's when they get that run and rugby out the back line, offload it all over the place. Now the Fijian Drua about to feed this ball into the front row. Oh, okay. It is going to be, once again, a scrum reset. We had quite a few of those last round of Super Rugby. It hasn't been too bad this week, though, from what we have seen so far. Okay. Okay, referee said he's not going to continue till you guys get balanced. Some big boys to balance there. You've got Kuroi Duedua, Togi Tama, and then also alongside them, it is going to be Uria Kepa. And I was like, you say much pain, or pain much in there as well, says David. And then in the front row for the Rebels, Gibbon, Ulisi, and Elof as the options that they have got. But I see Habosi there. And also out on the other wing, it is going to be Rava Taumada, who's a dangerous individual when he gets the space. 2 penalties, 1 so far for the Fijian Drua, and 2 resets for the Rebels, 1 reset for the Fijian Drua. So it's been quite a stop-start. It's a penalty to the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani wants the ball. He takes the quick tap, took it from behind the mark, so they are able to continue. And now the Fijians trying to get the offload game going. Pass back to Vota, and also what's a scrum. And there pretty much it is when the 8 forwards of each side do end up. I guess the easiest way of describing it is if these are the front rows, they both go down, they push up against each other with 5 men behind them. And then from there, it's pretty much you got to try and retain the ball in a pushing battle with the other forward pack, if that makes sense. Which it may not, unfortunately, because I feel like I described that quite badly. That's going to be the knock-on from the Fijian Drua there. And now 45 metres out from the line, the Rebels now will have another attacking opportunity. 26 minutes in, just the 1 try of Phillips, then 2 other conversions or 2 other penalties. Believe who was that? I want to say that it was Mero who put down that ball, unfortunately. So just a few too many mistakes early on. All right, and I get it, Lol. Thanks. This is Ki Jari. And there's yeah, I feel like it's a weird one to describe, isn't it? When, like, I guess we just think of it as a scrum, but then when you try and go into the in-depth, like, I mean, a line-out's probably a weird one as well. Like, it's pretty much a man throws it in from the sideline, but your team have to throw someone up in the air to try and catch it, which is an interesting situation. But line break so far for the Rebels, 3-1, and also they've had more times that they've reached 7+ phases in this match. Currently now, James Tuttle about to feed this ball in 55% possession here. Well, the Rebels, someone's been given out in the cricket between Pakistan and Australia. So I will keep you guys informed about that one. It's going to be the advantage now to the Rebels. Tuttle shut down. Oh, that's a hard landing for the youngster. It's going to be the penalty, though, to the Rebels from 45 metres out. I think Pakistan have gone upstairs for that review in the matchup. Yes, they have. We'll have to wait and see whether or not it will be the wicket falling for Pakistan or whether they have gotten away with just a little bit of luck. But they're only having an hour and a half session, so that means there's only another 45 minutes left of this one. Does he get the edge on it? Eat it. Oh, that's bad. I think he might be gone here. It's a big kick downfield from Resod. So they're going for the corner once again now for the Rebels. The only thing that might save the batsman is hit outside the line. But I don't believe there's any edge on that ball unless it's the back of the bat. No, it's not. Going to be close to the wicket for the Aussies. Now, the Fijian Drua, they've got them under pressure. Or sorry, the Rebels have got the Fijian Drua under pressure, I should say there. Impact in line, hitting. That's going to be another wicket down for Pakistan. Now 4 down for anyone who was following the test match cricket. Now the ball's being thrown in, taken very nicely there by the Rebels, looking for the rolling maul. Jordan Ulysses at the back, just bulldozing his way over. And it's another try for the Rebels. Brilliantly done. And that is going to be Jordan Ulysses, almost his first try of the season, I want to say. He hasn't scored a huge amount of them so far, but he's certainly happy with that one. And Jordan Ulysses, he will be gone. Well, no, he won't, sorry. He's scored the try. So I doubt they'll take him off now, but that is going to be the wicket of Ulysses. We will go like that, and we will go like that. Yes, Moana, yes, boys. Here's Max Cottle for that one. Yeah, brilliant win for Moana Pacifica in that matchup. Yeah, anyone who was wondering about the cricket now, Pakistan 4 down for 165. And that was a brilliant drive from Jordan Ulysses. Get himself over the line now. 16 points for the Rebels. So if you did end up putting that bet on, I guess you are now rich, maybe, depending on how much it was. Could have been $1, could have been 1,000. I don't know. I hope that it wasn't too much, though, because or else I would have felt so much anxiety if we were waiting closer to halfway. Oh, no, he is actually injured a bit, Jordan Ulysses. So maybe he is going to go off the field. I made the joke about him getting taken off because I was confusing the cricket with the rugby, but it looks like his right ankle is in a lot of pain at this current stage. Also took the Rebels over 15.5 first half. Nicely done. We will go like that, and we will go like that. There we go. We have just moved it, but now he is going to get plenty of strapping on that ankle for Jordan Ulysses. He's been plagued with injuries as of late, unfortunately. And it looks like that's going to be not a very nice one for him. He's probably going to have to get a huge amount of strapping on that foot. Currently, Matt Demore in 2022, he's actually only 72% of his kicks have gone over. They haven't exactly been tricky ones. Also took Rebels to win, so it'll be under 50. Oh, it's going to be tricky and Hamish forward out. I did see that he did just lose his wicket. LBW Pat Cummins, the captain, was able to get it and also come on, Drew. Don't tie it. And there's says Mr. Billy. That one's gone over 18-0 to the Rebels. Now, the big thing here for them is the Fijian Drua are going to have to make sure that they don't allow that to get any more than it already is, because if they end up with any more points against them, it's just going to be too much of a mountain to climb. Whereas if the Fijian Drua can score the next try and convert it, then you're only looking at 11 points down, which is still quite a large deficit, but it's still a doable deficit. Only 2 tries between them and getting the lead back, but it's been kicked off short now, taken beautifully from the big number 6. Well, this one it was Joe Tamani was able to get that ball. Frank Lamani now going back across to Nagusa. And currently they've got the advantage as well now for the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani goes back to Tititella now to Vovo. First receiver trying to go straight through, unable to. Now Lamani once again firing the ball back. It's going to be the big number 4 and Tuifaialele. And they're now going back. Lamani, flat ball from Tititella to the hands of big Uria Kepa, who always will make you a couple meters if he does need to. Tititella sells the dummy as if he was going on the inside. Didn't decide to in the end. Close to getting the ball. It's a penalty there for the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani takes the quick tap. That's going to be Matt Tamua, or in fact, it was Matt Phillip making the tackle. I don't know whether or not he was back 10. I would argue that would be an advantage. And it's another penalty to the Fijian Drua. He wants the ball. Koba Seeloff is not giving it up. And because of it, they are unable to take the quick tap. Probably quite strategic from Koba Seeloff there to not give back the ball as quickly as the Fijian Drua did want it. Now they are 18 points down. I doubt they go for the 3. If they do, I would be utterly confused. It looks like they just want to take a tap and go. Yes, they do. That is something that the Fijians will bring to the game of rugby. They're just having a little bit of a breath. Tititella get away from that ball. They're taking the 3. No. Not the choice. Yes, you want to get yourself back into the game a little bit, but this is not how to do it. You still need 2 converted tries and something if they get the 3 points. So Nagusa, he's decided that is the best option. I don't necessarily agree, but I guess it's points on the board, which is what the Fijian Drua will be after. But it's an interesting choice. We are 18-0 down. I still haven't quite worked out how to drink water on a live stream without making myself look like I'm turning into a goldfish. Unfortunately. 33 minutes through. Now Tititella Lining this one up 75%. So I think they've actually said it's more to do with the fact that they're trying to get the win behind them for the second half and also just trying to settle the game down a little bit more. They get their first points of the day for the Fijian Drua, and they've certainly got plenty of fans in attendance for this match for the Fijian Drua. And Tititella, he's just telling his team, come on, boys, let's get into this game now. We've got our points. Let's get ourselves fired up. Now currently 34 minutes through it. And also, what's the highlight so far? I would say, highlight so far. It's a tricky one because we had a few good moments. We've seen a couple big hits, of course, but Andrew Callaway down the wing. No, he didn't really do too much. Vaihu off kickoff. Vaihu off kickoff is the highlight I'll go with just because that man always seems to make plenty of meters anytime he does receive it. But now Frank Lamani, it's another advantage here now for the Fijian Drua trying to step their way around the opposition. Wrestled down, it was Kitioni Ratu. They're going back for the penalty. It looks like Frank Lamani once again wants to take the quick tap. He does just that as well. No, he wasn't on the mark. Surely the referee knows that the Fijians are going to take it quickly, so you got to get to your mark as soon as possible, I would have thought. Tititella now going to be looking for the touchline, but that's something that Fiji do so well is just continuously keep that pressure on, keep that pace of the game going so that they can pretty much make you run your tank down to empty for the second half and play to watch from both teams. I would say Ravovo for the Fijian Drua just because he has been pretty impressive for the last few weeks. And also Habosi in their backline will be another one. And then for the Rebels, I would say Koba Seeloff, which is weird to say a prop is the one to watch, but been looking dangerous and also running it like a back every once in a while. And I will go Glenn Vaihu as my other player. And also the Rebels would have watched the last game and said, hey, lads, let's not lose to these newies in there as well. And yeah, the Rebels, they just need a win. And I mean, we've already seen Moana Pacifica. They were able to get their first win of the competition. If the Rebels also get their first win of the competition, it means that the Highlanders will be left at the back unless, of course, we do end up seeing some sensational stuff from them up against the Blues. At the moment, Habosi driving it up 35 metres out from the line now here for the Fijian Drua, and it's always hard to put down a big Fijian. And also Fijian Drua's fitness on top level. It certainly is. Now Frank Lamani goes down, ball still available, 22 metres out, and Rebels need to win this game. They certainly do. It's going to be a little knock on the ground, and it goes back, and in fact, it's turning into a penalty there. Okay, I think Josh Hill was the one who won the penalty for that one, but one of the Fijians get himself in the wrong place in the breakdown there. Apparently anyone who was wondering about the game that has taken place between Pakistan and Australia. Currently, they are sitting 166 for 4 off 70 overs. They've got Baba Razam at the crease, Muhammad Rizwan at the crease also. And we have still got quite a few wickets in hand, 6 wickets there. So we will be covering the final day of the cricket or the final session of the cricket, and that will be from 11:45 onwards after this game is finished as they have adjusted the final kind of periods that they will be playing for in that matchup. In fact, I think I've got my screenshot that tells us exactly when those ones are taking place. So currently the tea break will be at 3 p.m., which is 11 p.m. our time. 11:20 will be when the last session starts. So we'll get to do at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours of this match for Australia versus Pakistan. Currently now, and there, Reesodge, I believe he will be kicking this one for touch when he gets the opportunity. If they lose this match, a Rebels 2022 campaign season is done. That is true. It's going to be very tough for them. But the Super Round happening April 22nd to April 24th. Every game at this location, I believe, or every team in one weekend. Is it? No, it might not be this location, but it's one of the locations. It might be Suncorp that they are going to be playing games back to back to back to back to back. And it's going to be pretty awesome to see how it goes. Every game from the same location. Few games on Friday night, few games on Saturday, and maybe even one on Sunday as well to slot in. But that will be with the New Zealand sides in there as well. But now, going to be kicked there. Okay, so all the games are actually going to be in Melbourne. So it will actually be at AAMI Park. That game or those games are going to be taking place. And now the line-out throw for the Rebels here. Fijian Drua still 15 points behind. We'll be trying to build up and just make sure that they don't get any further behind before halftime. And if anything, maybe score themselves a try. They might be able to do so as well because that ball's bouncing up, knocked back onto the side of the Fijian Drua. And Charika Davita breaking a couple big tackles there. Rain Nu'u tries to drag him down, but that is not an easy task. Now Big Wata and push towards the touchline. He's almost going to be called as a rolling maul, is he? I believe it is. And it was Andrew Callaway who got right in there to cause some issues. The ball available at the back, though, here. Well, then Frank Lamani has been told to use it. And also, Hamish will be commentating at night today or sleep late. How many matches more after today? So we have got this game. And then after that, we are going to be doing Pakistan versus Australia. If we get through to the last round, Mohammad Rizwan's actually been dismissed, though. That is 5 wickets down now for Pakistan. Now, Lamani fires it back to Teller. Another good run forward. Big carry from Vota. Finds the offload back up to Lamani. Now Teller on the outside. Ravovo goes off. So I think it was an LBW in the end against Mohammad Rizwan. Okay, it is going to be going back for the advantage. So, yeah, now Pakistan are 5 down in the cricket. They've actually still got a little bit of time. Who knows? Maybe we don't get to do the last session if they do lose wickets in quick succession here for the end of the test match. And instead, we will be doing the Brumbies versus the Western Force for that next matchup. And that will be taking place at 12 a.m. New Zealand time. Now, what do? They're taking on the 3 once again here for the Fijian Drua. So this will now put them only 12 points behind if they can convert. But you still wonder. They're putting a lot of pressure on their guys in the second half to be able to go on and really shine. Currently 38 minutes through, 2 minutes left here. And Nagusi seems to have a game plan, and that is to keep them in the match for as long as possible for that second half. And Australia can definitely win now. They are one wicket away of his arm. If they get him, surely they can win the series. Says Cody, yeah, they're in a pretty good position at the moment. 5 wickets to win. They've still got a session and a half to bat here for Pakistan. On a pitch that does look like it's going to be relatively tricky. So this session will be ending at 11 p.m. So they've still got another 33 minutes. So if they get 1 or 2 more wickets before that stage, maybe we do get to see this game over by the time that next one does end up beginning. But now going to be kicked. And Teller has just snuck it in. And also, what do you think of the Sonny Bill Williams Hall fight? It went very quick. A lot quicker than I was expecting, that is for sure. I thought it was going to be a relatively long one, but yeah, Sonny Bill manages to nail it. It almost looks like it's hit outside the line there for Mohammad Rizwan, but he was given out. Impact outside the line. He didn't review it, though, for Mohammad Rizwan, so he wouldn't have actually been out. That's massive for Pakistan because they could have still had Rizwan at the crease, but I don't think he felt too comfortable at the middle. Definitely not with so little reviews left for Pakistan. Now kicked off high. It's going to be nicely taken there, just inside of the 22. 30 seconds left of the second half, or the first half, sorry, I should say. Going to be taken back. And I think the Fijian Drua, they'll just take a few phases up the field here and then maybe kick the ball out after the 20 seconds left. Now looking for the ball on the outside, doesn't quite find it. Ravovo gets back to his feet, or maybe the Fijian Drua will try and go to length for the field and score. Now going back, Frank Lamani. Nice link-up play from some of the big men. Chirika Davita now receives it. Elof able to drag him down. That's almost stolen by the Rebels, it is. It's a penalty there. And what do? Cobus thought about taking it quickly. I believe the Rebels will now end up going for the 3 points. As I don't know if the Rebels, says Daniel there. And also we have got the, I'm watching AFL at the moment. Might come back later. Enjoy, lads. Says Ed, so we'll see you later on. But it was very nicely done there by the number 6. And it was Brad Wilkin. Now the question is, did he stay on his feet? I think he ended up losing the feet there, but I think he already had the ball, so that is why he's allowed to leave his feet for that situation. Currently now, big man Brad Wilkin has got a crucial turnover, and now does mean that the Rebels have got another opportunity to add an extra 3 to their score before we go to the second half. But 75% currently for his accuracy, so he's not doing too badly. He did miss that very first kick, although I think it's actually one of the things that Matt Demoa unfortunately does very well, is miss that very first opportunity that he has got for himself. But currently the whistle has been blown once again. Fans being very loud for Matt Demoa. Strikes it. It's looking good. It's going straight over. And now the score will be 21 points to 6 at halftime in this game. The Drua, they are behind by just a few points, 15 to be exact. They're going to have to work hard in that second half if they do want a chance of being able to go on and get a upset win here up against the Drua. But currently the Rebels sitting on 21 points. They've scored 1 try. In fact, sorry, they scored 2 tries. Matt Phillip and Jordan Ulisi, 2 Wallabies internationals. And then alongside that, it is going to be a very impressive first half from Waihu. I do have to give him a shout out because he was looking very strong throughout those early stages. And alongside that, I would probably also say honorable mention to Kobus Elof, just because he always Does just make a lot of meters for a prop. Again, it's unfortunate, but I'm slightly slipping down at the moment here, just for a little bit of relaxation while we're at halftime. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, after seeing that first half, how many, I guess, tries do you think we'll see in this match for the Rebels, and how many for the Drua? Do we get to see a Rebels bonus point win here? Because if they are able to do so, 3 or more tries than your opponent, they will actually move themselves up to about, I think it's about 9th or somewhere around there, even though they haven't won a game up till this point. If we go like that, as you can see there, the Rebels, they are currently sitting on 2 points. If they win this game with a bonus point, they actually, they will move up to 9th above the Fijian Drua. Whereas if Fijian Drua win this game, even if it's just a win, they will actually move up to 7th above the Blues, and they will knock the Hurricanes out of the top 8 as we currently sit. But Moana Pacifica, after getting themselves their first victory, now sit there on 4 points. The Highlanders yet to get a win. The Rebels yet to get a win, but the Rebels are looking very good at this current moment for being able to get themselves towards one. And also go the bloody Rebels in there as well. Says David Hamish, are you feeling, you are feeling sleepy and you are yawning a lot? I don't know whether or not it's sleepy. I slept pretty well overall. I think that's another wicket, is it? No, not out. Is the call from the umpire. But yeah, Pakistan only having 1 review left. They decided not to use it for Mohammad Rizwan, which meant that he lost his wicket, unfortunately. And Australia also only 1 review left. You got to make sure that you're certain when you do use it up. But this is the bench for the Rebels. Hanson, Cameron Orr, Van Neck, there's Maiava, then Wallace, Joe Powell, and then alongside him, Carter Gordon and George Worth looking through at the Fijian Drua, Ikanaveri, Hitit, and also it will be Tawake, Nasila Sila, Salawa, Matawalu, Caleb Munst, and then it will be Matai Thiwa. Okay, there was no edge on that one for Pakistan and Australia. The Super Rugby League is hosted by which country? Is it happening fully in New Zealand? So it is co-hosted between New Zealand and Australia, although some future games, I believe, will be taking place in the islands, including Fiji. They will get a few home games. And Suva, I believe it is, which is pretty awesome to see that they will be able to do so. Just because at the end of the day, you want to see them play their home rugby in front of their home crowd, and it will just be an absolutely incredible performance and also incredible atmosphere from the Fijian Drua to have the whole nation behind you at a stadium and just feeling that energy. I feel like that is something that they will be missing from being able to have at this point in time. But I'm going to sit back up now, or else I will get too comfy for that one as well. But currently we are sitting 10:33 p.m. New Zealand time, which means this game we have got 40 more minutes left. The game between Pakistan and Australia, more than likely the drinks break will go, or the tea break, sorry, will go through to 11:20 p.m. And as Ravovo playing well, any line breaks, he's had a couple so far, but he hasn't been, I guess, as impactful as he was in the last game, because last game he was just on fire. But this game, like if last game you gave him a 9, this game he's probably been a solid 7. To be fair, he's had a couple line breaks, or sorry, not really line breaks, but just a couple hard hits at the line. And what's up, going to be a tight match this one? Says JT, it certainly will be similar. So I see you've got the logo of the Chiefs, but similar to that game between the Chiefs and the Crusaders. What is your score prediction for that one? JT, do let me know. It's going to be interesting. See how that one does end up going. That is the game tomorrow night. Also, alongside that, we've got the Blues versus Highlanders. That'll be a 4:35 p.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. And then after that game, and after the other one that I mentioned about the Chiefs and Crusaders, we have also got the game that has taken place between the Reds and the Waratahs. So a couple big games of Super Rugby tomorrow night. And other than that, I think what other sports? Oh, we've got the NRL on Sunday that we will be covering on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and also check out that pinned comment. That will take you through to the Kiwi Lads Sport, and you can help show your support on that one as well. And also, hopefully, we don't do what we did last time versus Drua and Choke. And this is Xavier. Yeah, having a 15-point lead, I feel like that would be a brutal one to have if they weren't quite able to do the job in this game, the Rebels. But if they get themselves a win, that is 2 sides who didn't have a win going into this round who now have themselves a win. So it's a round of upsets, perhaps. Even though the weird thing is Rebels, even though they haven't won a game yet, they were actually coming in as favourites for this game. Whereas Moana Pacifica, they were certainly not favourites for their one. Currently, Babar Azam still trying to anchor the innings for Pakistan, sitting 170 for 5 and chased by 10, brother. And there's us, says JT, so it should be a very exciting game. Definitely, since it's at FMG Stadium, home crowd, they will be in attendance for that game. Oh, okay, so Babar Azam was actually the one who told Mohammad Rizwan that was plum in the cricket, where it was way outside the line, impact way outside So he would have been fine if he had reviewed it. And I wonder what Bubba Razam's reaction was when he did end up seeing that. Same with Rizwan. Don't like being out in a game of cricket. But Philip and Ulysses, they've certainly been having a day out here at AAMI Park. 1 try for Philip in the 5th minute. Ulysses getting that one in the 29th minute of the game, and that was off the rolling maul. So both men working hard in that 4-pack. Alongside them, you've got Matt Gibbon. He's been busy. Cobus Eloff also been relatively busy for himself. And Richard Hardwick always going to give you a tough performance. And also what happens to the table standings if they have a draw. And there says Mr. Billy. So pretty much in this one, they will end up having an extra 10 minutes of play if it is a draw. So they'll go to golden point. But if they both ended up getting the 2 points for themselves, it would mean that the Rebels move up to 4, but they won't end up overtaking Moana Pacifica. And then the Fijian Drua with a draw will still be sitting in 9th. So neither side really will want to draw for this game and instead would love to be able to get themselves the victory. The Brumbies, they're the only side who haven't had a loss yet in Super Rugby. They are up against the Western Force in their game a little bit later on tonight. We will be commentating cricket alongside letting you guys know exactly what is happening in that matchup. We will be doing a dual screen type thingamabob like I have for the last couple of our live streams as well. But the game between New Zealand and the Netherlands unfortunately rained off, which was a big shame for that one, but very nicely played in the end by, it was Sajid and that one. But also I should mention anyone who is a fan of sevens. We've got the 7 circuit coming back very soon. Singapore Sevens, not next weekend, the weekend after is when that will be taking place. And we will be covering that on the channel also. Hopefully as many games as physically possible. Singapore, their time zone's not too bad for ourselves. So it may overlap a little bit with Super Rugby. But other than that, every game of the 7 circuit that we can squeeze in, we are going to be doing on at the channel. So be sure to stick around for that as well. Oh, well, Rizwan really struggling in Test cricket. Yeah, he wishes the ball was white right now. And there says Sebastian, yeah. It's been rough for him, but that one, I feel like that one will just be a little bit of a dagger through the heart because of the fact that it wasn't hitting the stumps, but his captain, Bubba Razam, was like, nah, it's out. Like, you're not allowed to use our last review because I may need it later. So see you later, unfortunately, for this one. And howdy, good morning, mates. Welcome in, Rishi. Hope you're doing well. I heard someone said flexibility in the stand. Flexibility in the stand. Right, I see. I guess what were they referring to is probably the big question. Is it like the flexibility of the forward pack? Or maybe someone on the sideline was doing some stretches. Someone was admiring the flexibility of them. And how many matches each team play before the playoffs in this league? How that playoffs happen. First play 4, second play 3. First 2 teams get one more opportunity as an IPL league. So in this one, it is top 8 teams go through to the quarterfinals. 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5. Whoever wins those games go through the semi-finals. Winner of those 2 games make their way through to the final. So it's not really, if you're at the top, you don't get a second chance, but you do get the benefit of home field advantage for those games. And Hamish, maybe Australia win. Now looking not too bad at the moment. Well, Bubba, I'll be able to make up for it by smashing some runs then, yeah. If he doesn't, it's not going to be ideal. But Sajid Khan currently sitting on 0 off 11 for them in that one. That was almost straight through from Nathan Lyon. Bubba Razami sitting on 40 off 77, so not doing too badly for himself there, but currently we are just waiting for the second half to get back underway between these 2 sides, the Rebels and the Drua. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who will be scoring the first try of the second innings, or the second half, I should say, of this match. I'm going Glenn Vaihu. I just feel like he's a dangerous individual with a lot of skill, and I'm gonna back him. I'm gonna say he scores. If he doesn't, I'll be sad because I feel like he deserves the try the way that he's been playing this year for the Rebels. And then also, I mean, Kobus Eloff, he's been scoring for fun recently. So maybe you say he could get himself one as well, perhaps. Nicely played once again in the cricket by Pakistan, and also maybe draw a win for Australia and the questionable captaincy series for certain as well. That is true. And we'd have crowds in the 7 Singapore stands. Empty stadiums, not the same. Yeah. Sevens needs like the fan experience. You know, the dress up on one of the days. Like that's what made the Dubai 7 so special as well, was because they were able to have that crowd, and it just brings that electric atmosphere to a ground. Like when everyone, like Sevens is just one of those ones that's back and forth action, and everyone just loves it, like when it is well and truly going. And hopefully they can do that in Singapore. Also, I believe they've got a couple more coming up relatively soon, including the Cape Town Sevens, and then the Rugby Sevens World Cup, I think, is coming up, which we will also be covering on the channel. Well, Bubba better make up for it by smashing them runs. And also maybe Australia win, and also Pakistan have a win chance of 0 now Also, we've got their innings. And there's this Petty. Yeah, I'm confusing my cricket and my rugby terminology at the moment. Maybe draw or win for Australia. And there says Ryan for that one as well. But getting close to the second half now, Fiji are always dangerous in the second half, hoping for a good result. And that's the thing. You've got to find a way of shutting them down early. And also, you've got to find a way of shutting them down late. They scored 3 tries in 5 minutes up against the Reds, which was a very impressive performance. Cheers. And Hong Kong 7's happening this year? I believe it is. One moment, I'll check the 7 circuit out and see whereabouts they are going to be playing. But I want to say they are, but I could also be wrong because I often am, unfortunately. Just sometimes. Okay, Singapore's in 14 days' time. 14 days, 13 hours. Also, that's an early morning start, isn't it? That's 11 a.m. on Singapore Saturday. I believe that would be. Upcoming calendar for it. They've got the Dubai. No, that's already been. Okay, so you've got Singapore, then you've got Vancouver, Toulouse, London, Los Angeles. Okay, so no, actually, they don't have Hong Kong for this one. Although, brother, I told you 80% Australia and 20% draw in the first session. And there's this other sheet there. Well, that one also. And yeah, currently doing very nicely for themselves in this one. Australia picking up a few quick wickets. And also, is New Zealand on the 7th circuit? They will be for the upcoming ones. Unfortunately, they weren't for the Northern Hemisphere ones. But Fiji will also be added back to the 7th circuit alongside Samoa. They're going to be an awesome bunch to watch. Play some good old-fashioned Harden and 7s. And also getting 5 wickets in second innings will be good. And there, as I says, Paddy Wagon. And yeah, if they do need 5 in the last session, that's going to make it a very exciting one because we will be covering that last session of the day. Currently, they have got another 18 minutes till they get to lunch. Then from there, we will be switching over to the 7s. And also rate both teams' performances. Says Ed, I'll give FIJIAN DRUA, I'll give them a 5. I know that sounds pretty harsh because they did pretty well on the breakdown, but the handling errors and also a little bit of the decision-making might make it a little bit worse for them in that rating. The Rebels, I'll give them a solid 8. At this stage of Moana Pacific, how good? Yeah, they did very nicely. Any result for the Warriors, Hamish? They did end up winning up against the West Tigers. I believe it was 16-14 or 16-12, something along those lines for the scoreline. But yeah, they did end up winning the game themselves. Sajidi Khan just picking up his first boundary, I do see, which is always nice. Currently, the Rebels, if it is a FIJIAN DRUA player who scores the first try, I'm going to say Haborsi is the man who was able to do it. But the position probably pretty even in that first half. The Drua, they don't often like to give away the ball, whereas the Rebels do like to kick that ball, go for a little bit more territory game involved in the plans that they have got. But currently now, must be close to the second half, and 16-12 to the Warriors. And there's the submission. It always feels like such a long time for Australian Super Rugby games. I don't know why it is. I don't know whether or not it is actually whether or not it is actually longer. And also we've got who ever other day said Warriors are bad. Who is bad? And there's Petty. The one I don't know whether or not they're on the live stream at this stage though, but we are doing the NRL on the Kiwi Lad Sport channel on Sunday. It will be myself and George, which will be an interesting occasion. But now we are getting ready to go for the second half of this match. By the looks of it, we are just about to be back out on the field. Yes, the Rebels, they are leading their way out there and also leading this match currently with them sitting very nicely. And they are just showing the games that are taking place tomorrow. Hurricanes versus the Blues. Then after that, it is going to be the Chiefs versus Crusaders. And then alongside that, it is going to be the Reds versus Waratahs and also draw Fiji. And there says Lottie there in the chat. And also, Hamish, imagine a situation occurs both Rugby World Cup and Cricket World Cup are happening at the same time. Which one you choose? You only have one option. Rugby World Cup 9 times out of 10. Because we haven't had too many copyright strikes from Rugby World Cup, whereas we've had quite a few from Cricket World Cup. So that's my answer. And also New Zealand Sevens team, men and women, in Fiji Invitation Series at the moment. I toughen them up. And there, as I says, Mr. Billy, yeah, and it's certainly going to be a physical one when we go up against, I guess, the Blitzboks are going to be the side to beat, but also Fiji are always a challenge and a half when we get to play them in sevens. And also the Tigers are expected to win the wooden spoon, though. But yeah, lots more work to do to achieve them playoffs. And there's Sebastian, but the FIJIAN DRUA about to kick off the second half now. They've got 40 minutes to make up 15 points and probably score themselves a few more extra. It's going to be taken nicely by Ray Nu'u. Dragged down. No, in fact, he's made his way through about 2 or 3 tackles, but Frank Lamani unable to turn that ball over. Tuttle now going to the short side. Matamua thought he was selling a dummy straight through a gap. Instead, got lined up by Tamani. Or at least 40 metres out from their line here. Good run forward from Matt Gibbon. Now, still available here for the Rebels. Rush there. The ball was out the back. I think they said it's all right, and Frank Lamani has stolen it as well. Very nicely done. And also they're saying about the Warriors. There's us, says Paddy Wagon. Now, currently, it is going to be fired back across. Bounce pass into the hands of Tamani once again. And also, when is the next World Cup happening? Where? So it is going to be in France, and it is 2023 that it is going to be taking place. Good run forward from Nagusa. Currently, it looks like there's some sort of injury in the back here for one of the big forwards. I believe that is actually Koroi Duadua, who is in a bit of pain. But now they are going to be recycling this ball quickly. FIJIAN Drua, that ball's been dropped. It went backwards. They're going back for the penalty. Right. For the FIJIAN Drua, I would like to think that they will end up going for the corner here. I mean, it's an easy 3. In fact, they take the tap. That is probably more expected from the FIJIAN Drua. But now Wata gets the ball back on the side of the Drua, 30 metres out, and they're saying they're going to lose badly. And it says Paddy Wagon. It's a knock on there from Koroi Duadua. Now a counter-attack from Stacey Ely. Linking up nicely with Reese Hodge, who kicks it way down the field. This one cannot go into touch on the full, and that is not going to. Now waiting for the awkward bounce of the ball. Interesting take there. I think it was Ravovo who jumped across in front. Almost dangerous for them. It's a good kick downfield. Almost a 50-22 from Habosi, but just ends up missing out on it. But it does now put the Rebels back under pressure for the start of the second half. It will be about 25 minutes out from their line. Like they're saying, the FIJIAN Drua, they know how to accelerate a game pace in a very short amount of time, and that is exactly what they're trying to do here for themselves. Currently now, Jordan Ulesi was able to score a try a little bit earlier on in the match. Oh, Steve Smith actually caught something, but it wasn't out. I do see there. Overthrown there by the Rebels. Little knock on, though, from the Drua, and now flinging it out the back line once again. Resodge, ball on the outside. They've got now Vaihu trying to chase after it. It's going to be taken beautifully by it was Ravutaumada. Now going back across. Nice run forward from Tamani. Unable to break the line, and it was Matamura on him. Now penalty to the Rebels. Nicely done from 16 metres out. Once again, it is going to be the big man, Brad Wilkin. Oh, there's going to be an edge on that one as well. And Australia didn't go upstairs. That could have been another wicket. So I guess that makes up for the one that Rizwan did lose his wicket at Ray Habosi's game so far. I'll give him, if we're going out of 10, I'll give him about a, I'm going to be harsh to him because I know that he is just absolutely insane with the talent that he's got. I'm going to give him a 7 purely because we haven't got to see him run with the ball as much as he possibly could have. But other than that, he's been pretty spot on. Been making some big hits and also just has pace and a great kick before from as well. So maybe 7's too harsh. I'll give him an 8. But I know that he has certainly got the potential to be able to go 10 out of 10 for that one. Wait a minute. Australia might have gone upstairs for this one. No, they didn't. They decided against it in the end. Now they are going to be switching. It is going to be Tawake now making his way out onto the field for Koroi Duadua. So I believe Tawake will slot in at tie prop and loose prop will become Ulia Kepa that start at number 3 for this game. Now John Ulesi throw this one in. Currently 25 metres out from the FIJIAN Drua line. Almost stolen, but nicely done there by the Rebels. Offload across. And now Matt Tamoa going off to Rain Nu'u. Shut down pretty early by Frank Lamani, who stays on the ground now trying to pierce the gap. Richard Hardwick, that gap was not there though. Mira filled it in pretty quickly. Now Matamora, once again, Andrew Callaway, he's got the man with him. If he could link up with Vaihu, that could have been dangerous, but good defence from the FIJIAN Drua to stop him from being able to free up the hands. Now Jordan Ulesi just bouncing on off a few tackles as if he was some sort of trampoline. Now Tamua going back across Reinu. This is looking good now for the Rebels. Stacey Ely after the 22-metre line. Tuttle looking to pass it off. Kobus Eloff offloads it back to Matamua. Now this is looking like the perfect time to use that back line. Vaihu gets a smack in the spine, but it sits up now for Callaway. Still goes backwards, and Michael Wells does almost hang on to it. It's a little knock on, though. So it is going to be the scrum feed for the FIJIAN Drua, but 21 points to 6 currently. And you'd have to argue if the FIJIAN Drua don't get a point of some sort before, let's say 60 minutes, might just be a little bit too little too late, unless, of course, the Rebels somehow don't get themselves any points for the rest of the second half. Then the Drua has still got a very big opportunity of being able to fight back. Another yawn from myself there. Currently 45 minutes into the game. Andrew Callaway, he hasn't had a great start to his Super Rugby season. Unfortunately, he was very good last year. And also alongside that, did extremely well for the Wallabies. Actually got himself right up there as Young Player of the Year as an option for that. But in the end, Will Jordan did end up taking out the crown for that one. The young Kiwi winger / fullback. Similar to Callaway, who did actually get a little bit of time at fullback for the Wallabies. And the Northern Tour, that's going to be a quick tap taken. Nope, wasn't quite on the mark there. Okay, they went too early there. Frank Lamani, I think, is just going to take the quick tap here. By the looks of it, yes, it is. Just the tap and go here for the Fijian Drua. Good run forward here. I believe it was Big Tamani once again. Now Frank Lamani, quick recycle ball. Teller goes back across to Charika DeVito, who drops the shoulder. Continues to build his way up to the 22-meter line. No look pass from Rivovo. Now Horta with another carry. Tamani turns his back. Finds the offload. In fact, it was their number 4. It's gone backwards. Ulia Kepa picks it up now. Now moving his way up to the halfway line. Lamani going back across a little bit low to Ratu, but good hands from him. He's under all sorts of pressure from, I believe it was Wilkin. He's really trying to cause a bit of problem, I should say, at the breakdown. I think that's Ulia Kepa's actually stayed down, unfortunately, but now Lamani passes it off now to Ravitamaura. Going back across. Short recycle ball. Vota continues to build. And the Fijian Drua up to 9 phases now. Now Mira with a straight and run. Good drive from him. Gets an extra 10 meters for a side. Now they're into the half of the Rebels. Passing it back into their own half, though. Looking for the back line. Unable to get through, but I feel like it's only one quick pass away from something breaking through here. It's a good step there from, it was Tugitama. Or Togiatama, I should say. Up to 12 phases now. Lamani going back across to, it was the big number 4. Teller goes back to Charika DeVito. Good run forward, still just building phase after phase after phase. Here for the Fijian Drua, finding the offload to Bossi. Getting close. It's a little knock on, though, I believe, from the Fijian Drua. And they're disappointed with it. So that was the opportunity to go through and get themselves a possible try. Well, got them right back into this match, but sadly just ran out of space down the wing. It's a good run from Vota. Then from there, Bossi, he just ran out of space. They are saying that it was a knock-on in the end, I believe, rather than the line-out. Although he was very close to the touchline. Last 14 phases. And 1 minute 36. That is certainly recycled quickly. Nice quick pace for them. That's a good shot from Baba Razami. Rock back onto the back foot. For anyone wondering about Australia versus Pakistan, Pakistan are still 5 down at this point in time. Still 7 minutes left of this half, though. Or this session, I should say. Oh. Okay, just a penalty. I think it's actually going to go the way of the Fijian Drua here. By the sounds of it, they have got a penalty advantage. Or is that a penalty to the Rebels? Okay, it's actually a penalty to the Rebels there for an illegal clean out. So because of that, now they're 50 meters out. Resodge more than likely will kick this one for the corner. Get them as close to the try line as physically possible. But the Rebels, if they get themselves one more try, they will be sitting in a position to be able to go on and get themselves a bonus point. Kick downfield. Good kick from Resodge. And now about 15 meters out from the line, it is going to be another opportunity for the Rebels to strike once again. But the Fijian Drua, their defense has been solid. They haven't really been allowing anyone to make their way through at this point in time. And I'm going to quickly go like this and go like this as well. I'm just checking something to make sure everything is still running smoothly. Now going to be passed back across here for the Rebels. Flat ball. And to the hands of, it is going to be Rainu, who does end up scoring it straight through the gap. And he has been able to pick up the try for himself and the Rebels there. We'll go like that. And we will go like that as well. But the Melbourne Rebels score once again. Rainu is the man who has been able to pick it up now. We'll go like that. And we will go like that. But Rainu, he'll be very happy with that one. 49th minute, and it was a much-needed try to get the Rebels just that little bit further ahead. And this contest in Hamish, could you remind me of the 5-day schedule the times of the breaks and the sessions, says Sebastian there. Sure can. In fact, one moment, I've got it up here. So pretty much at this stage, we've got 5 more minutes of this session. Then they take a 20-minute break. And then from 11:20 New Zealand time, I think you probably know New Zealand times better than I know Romanian times. But yeah, 11:20 p.m. New Zealand time, going right through till 1:20 a.m. And then I assume they are allowed that extra half an hour if they can get through it, or if they do still have the overs left. But I don't think they'll have too many overs spare at the end of that. Pretty much they had a 2.5-hour first session. Then after that, an 1.5-hour session for the second one. And then after that, they've got the 2-hour session to close us out for the night. But that was nicely done there by Reinu. Almost made it look too easy. Just broke straight through the Fijian Drua defense. Scores himself the try. Kicks it into touch. And now that gives the Rebels the 28 points to 6 lead over the Fijian Drua. Joe Powie is now on the field, and that is for James Tuttle. So that will be his replacement. Relatively early on in the game, but when you've already got a 3-try lead, you might as well throw them out there. But that looked like it was also a sub being made for the Fijian Drua, who have now just been able to retain that ball. Thank you, man. And I'm guessing the extra half an hour is if flight allows it. Yep. And also, if they do have any more time that they do need to make up, one moment, I'll just have a look. In fact, in 4 minutes' time, I'll check how many overs they do need to get through in that matchup, and then we'll be able to work out kind of somewhere along the lines of where it is sitting. But yeah, we will be covering that, and hopefully they do still have around 5 wickets by the time we start our coverage, just so that there's still something to fight for, and it's not like a 5-minute wicket. Thanks very much for coming, all done. Like, hopefully it does last to 120, as that is kind of the plan behind the whole method. That was Salawa on the field now, and that is for, it will be Mira has now made his way off the field here. We'll go like that. And we will go like that. But 51 minutes through this game. Still another 29 minutes left of this matchup. Should be interesting also what African nations have played in the Rugby World Cup. Says Mr. Billy, there's quite a few who have been able to make their way through. So African nations you're looking at, first of all, I mean, big one, of course, is South Africa. I believe, have Zimbabwe been in there before? I think they have. I'm trying to think of who else we've got who have been in the World Cup for African nations. Because I know there's Africa 1 and Africa 2, I believe. Kenya. I believe Kenya have been in a World Cup before. That one had the front rows both going up. I feel like there's a few other ones that I should be able to think of as well for... Namibia. Namibia is a stock standard one that's actually been in quite a few World Cups, I think, overall for themselves. Who else we got? I'm trying to think of Upper Africa at this stage. Or North Africa, I guess I could call it, for that one. Or Northern Africa might be the better way of putting it. But now they've gone for another scrum. A couple scrum resets in a row, which is why it has just taken a little bit more time. And this one, I think time has been turned off, is it? No, they're going to keep it going by the looks of it now. Currently, the Fijian Drua coach, he's not looking too happy. Unfortunately, looks pretty sad as we currently sit. But hopefully, the Fijian Drua can still score themselves at least one try in this match. The big thing here for them now will be, let's see whether or not the Fijian Drua can avoid giving the Melbourne Rebels the bonus point for this match. I feel like that will be their first challenge in this matchup. And now it's going to be 53 minutes through, still another 27 to go. So plenty of time for the Rebels. It only took them 5 minutes to be able to score 3 tries. It's gone down on the front row penalty to the Rebels there. And Hamish, do any Middle East countries play rugby like Morocco, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, and UAE? Or any Asian countries? There are quite a few Asian countries. Middle East countries-wise, I can't think of too many off the top of my head who I rank extremely high in the, I guess, ranking side of things. But a few Asian countries, such as Japan, do play. They're probably the highest ranked Asian side, I would say. Unless I'm missing someone huge. No, I think they are the highest. Everyone, hopefully we might have 3 African nations at the World Cup. We need a spot for the third nation, or the spot of the third nation. So, of course, that is Romania that Sebastian is referring to, his fellow brethrens in Romania. Hopefully they can do it. I feel like it would be a lot cooler to be able to commentate a game that has Romania in it if, like, we've got you here in the chat as well. It'll kind of be like a cool overlap. Oh, not well done there. Resaji does end up knocking that one on, but I believe they're going back for the initial penalty. No, they're going back for a penalty to the Drua. And also Namibia. So other than Namibia, Kenya, South Africa, who else have we got from African nations who have been in a World Cup, ladies and gentlemen? Do let me know. Let's test the knowledge. Zambia? No, Zambia I don't think have. Mozambique? No. Zimbabwe? Maybe Zimbabwe. Not too sure. It was a good game, Drua. Better rugby next week, says Lake Sean. Yeah, it looks like they haven't given up as of yet, though. They still keep on going. Asian qualifiers are Hong Kong, Malaysia, and South Korea. And there as well says Japan. Also says Sebastian. Your name is not Japan, Sebastian. Don't worry. Oh, that was close to a catching opportunity there for Australia, but it did end up getting put down, I believe. That would have been Barbara's arm gone. Now it's going to be the free kick there for the Fijian Drua. Only 25 metres out for the line now. Ghana maybe have been in a World Cup, have they? In the past? I feel like I'm confusing my Rugby World Cup with the football or FIFA World Cup because I'm thinking of someone like Cameroon, but I know that I don't think they've got too strong of a rugby team overall. It's going to be another advantage here to the Fijian Drua. There is a player down on his back currently. I like Hentai, though. It is Sebastian looking for the pass. Does go down for Ravovo and Timbuktu. And there is Mr. Billy. It looks like a serious-ish injury here for one of the Fijian Drua players. Hopefully he is all right. So maybe some sort of rib injury. Not too sure of his number. He's on the back. And also, did you see the poster about Bubba's cover drive? Was that the one with 99% something? I only saw about half of it with the screen. Ivory Coast, have they been through? When was the last time Ivory Coast went through to a Rugby World Cup? That's the thing. There's always going to be those little surprises, aren't there, of teams that you probably forget that took part. But hopefully we do get to see some very awesome rugby from some of those minnow sides in the Rugby World Cup 2023. And Robert said, yeah. And that one is, yeah, I only saw the 99% side of it. All right, what do the Fijian Drua do here? I believe they'd have to kick this one for the touchline. Be their best bet. Looks like the Melbourne Rebels just having a bit of a conference here. Even though Fiji are losing this match by 22 points, the crowd are still absolutely loving it, and they bring in the atmosphere to AAMI Park. And also Morocco, Tunisia, and Madagascar, top countries, which won cups. I Googled, and there's us coding. And then indeed Ivory Coast at the 1995 World Cup. There you go. The more you know. I feel like that's the thing. I'm looking forward to getting to watch the whole World Cup from start to finish. That's another knock on from the Fijian Drua. Kobus Elof picks it up nicely. Because normally, like, I don't think I've watched a full World Cup straight through start to finish with all of the games. And I think that's going to be my goal for this year. On next year's World Cup, sorry. 99% Dr. says Bubba's cover drive cures mental health. That's what it said. Rob Key read it out. And yeah, I see. Yeah, I only got 99%. For my angle, so I wasn't quite sure what it is, but there have been some pretty good signs at the cricket overall, I will say. But that looks like it is going to be now the lunch break, or in fact, it will be the tea break now between the two sides. Razam sitting there on 46, and also come on, Rua says Tale there, and also Australia need 5 wickets to win, says Emily. Glad when they do indeed, and we are going to be covering that one for the third session of the day. It's going to be very exciting. Abosi now with the offload down the wing. The big number 16 going for the corner. He's going to be dragged down. Absolutely phenomenal tackle. Tamani gets trapped near the touchline. How is he still in the field of play? Finding the offload back, but this is a fast pace from the Fijian Drua trying to put the Rebels under all sorts of pressure. It's a penalty. In from the side, punishing for the Drua. And that was it. That was the opportunity. Get back into the game. Also, Hamish, did you not follow West Indies versus England Test Series? I have been following it. It's just they haven't been on at ideal times for us in New Zealand. Although now that we're sitting at only day 2 in that Test match, I believe if there goes to a day 5, I think we will be able to cover it on the Monday night, if I'm not wrong. Although now the slight problem is it will overlap with the IPL, so it would have to be probably the last session of the day if that was the case. It was a good run forward from Ulia Kepa. In fact, no, sorry, it wasn't Ulia Kepa. It was actually the replacement number 16 for this game, which was Ikanaveri. So close to being able to make his way over the line, and also it's still at stumps. And there's says Robert, and also Wales had a great win in football last night. They come on Wales one more win to qualify for the World Cup, says Emily, and we are actually going to be covering that World Cup on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel which is the pinned comment there. We are going to be hopefully covering as many games as physically possible, and hopefully they don't all overlap and come on to Drua and the SS Tui. And also, I'm always surprised the French-speaking African countries don't take rugby more serious, and the SS Fleshin. So, yeah, it would be nice to see the world have a few more big contenders make their way up through the rankings. Because, I mean, all you got to do is look at Japan for how quickly they were able to turn themselves from pretty much, I mean, you'd argue 0 to hero in the way that they did play. And who's going to win IPL, says Emily. Oh, I haven't had a real good scout of the teams, but normally, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Who was in the final last year? Was it Kolkata Knight Riders, Mumbai Indians? Were they the two sides, or have I got that around the wrong way? And I recommend the IPL, Hamish, because the England series is free on YouTube, depending where you are from, obviously. Says Sebastian, that is a good point, and I can just keep you guys updated with what is going on as well, I guess. And also Nigeria, with their big rugby playing Diaspora. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Bossy drops the ball once again there for the Drua. This is punishing for them currently. Wilkin going for the kick of mine. That's the number 6, ladies and gentlemen. And also Chennai Super Kings, last season's winner. And who was in the final with them? Do let me know. It's close to the touchline now. Still going to be available. Ratu just able to keep himself inside of the field of play. Come on, Drua, empty the tank. And it seems like that's what Ikanaveri's going to try and do, although he's thrown the ball over the top to Tetela. That was poor from him. Unfortunately, didn't jump on it. And also we have got there, Hamish, your voice clearly resonates with the rugby players' fast pace and the SS coding, and which Australian team do the Royals have? And the Australian players do the Royals have? In fact, I can probably help you out with that one. I did send Sebastian there, and I'll send you the list, Rob, on Discord. Okay, that answers that. And also we've got there CSV versus Kolkata Knight Riders for the final. And there's RCS going in. But currently they are showing the Western Force and the Brumbies. They will be playing the next game of Super Rugby, although the big thing there is we will be covering that game while also watching along with Pakistan versus Australia. So that will be the live stream that we do transfer over to straight after this one does take place. And it should be an exciting game, and we will be watching it from start to finish also. Now 20 minutes left in this game. Going to the back there, stolen by the Rebels. Nicely taken by the young man in the form of, I believe it was Hill. And also Rajasthan have Josh Butler, great batsman. And there says Emily. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty awesome IPL. We are also going to be covering that one on the Sport channel, just because we're not too sure about kind of the copyright side and everything along those lines. So we've got to be careful for the first little while. Now Joe Powell slings it back across Kobus Eloff with another good carry forward. Ball rolls out the back. It's going to be stolen nicely by the Fijian Drua. They've been right in this, other than the last final pass. But now Nagusa going straight through, trying to find the offload. Great work from Joe Powell, though, to be able to protect that ball and keep it on the side of the Fijian Drua, but also slow it down just enough. Obviously, Loft gets out of that breakdown. Teller passes the ball back across. Ravovo steps on the inside, still galloping forward 40 meters out now. The Fijian Drua trying to make this one just a little bit closer. Lamani looks off to his side, passes it off now. It was to Salawa. It's a knock on. Once again from the Fijian Drua. Matamua, have you got a ribcage anymore? That looked painful. Oh, he's gonna have to take a breath after that one. Jeez. That was a big shot right in the ribs. I almost hunched over after he got smacked with that one. And Matt Tamur, welcome to the Fijian Drua. It was Nagusa who goes for it right in the middle of the body. Goes on one. The worst thing is Matt Tamur, he didn't even really get forced completely backwards. It was just bent in half straight away. And he shows the face straight away of a man who regrets his decision to hold on to that ball for a little bit longer. But Nagusa has certainly rearranged a few of the vital organs in the midsection of Matamua. So I wouldn't think it'd be too far off the field going off for Carter Gordon. That ball is jinxed. And there's us, Mr. Billy. Yeah, it just seems like they aren't able to hang on to it here, the Fijian Drua, which is, I mean, like, yes, they'll have some handling errors in a game, but not this many. Something seems to be just going a little bit wrong. But Matamua, he's got his breath back. I'm surprised. At least the man would have had to take the rest of the game off. Jeez. Matamua, I think he was in pain straight away, and then afterwards he just said to the guy, good hit, which I think he could appreciate the fact that the timing was on point for that one. Matamua currently, he's made 6 tackles. He's had kick meters of 183. Also has been doing not too badly with the kicking tee in hand. Only 60 minutes down into this contest. Now the Rebels sitting 28 and the Drua sitting 6. So we've got a bit of a stoppage here while we do wait for a few more subs to make their way on and off the field. Matawalu out there now for Frank Lamani. That is probably the biggest change for the Drua, although it's actually going to be Upper Salome Vota at number 13 taken off, and that will be for Matai Thiwa. Putting the ball in there. Big push from the Rebels. Front row pops up, and that is going to be the advantage now in favour of the home side at AAMI Park. Ball pass backwards now out to Vai, who tries to step, met nicely by, it was the number 14, Ravatamada, that's been put down there. And now it's going back for the initial penalty, though, which was lucky for the Matt Phillip. He's not a happy man at the moment by the looks of him. Now 50 metres out. They will be going for possibly the corner once again, but Matt Phillip, just a bit of a juggle there. Too far out in front of him. He's been pretty decent throughout this game. Was able to score the very first try of the match in only the 5th minute. And like they're saying, 4 Rebels have been able to make their way into that training squad for the Wallabies, including Reece Hodge, also alongside him. I believe it would be Jordan Ulysses if we're talking Rebels players. And then also, who else would you have in there? Probably Matt Phillip actually is another one. And Calcutta Knight Riders have a nice side. And as well says Robert, a lot of pressure there on the Fijian Drua. The ball went backwards though. So they are able to go to the short side trying to find that offload, unable to do so. It's another knock on there. But it was an initial knock on from the Rebels, which does mean we do get to see a scrum feed for the Fijian Drua. So this game, it's been played by scrums in the second half, unfortunately. So many stoppages in play. It's an initial knock on from the Rebels, and then from there it was almost mimicked, I guess you could say, by the Fijian Drua, and the fact that they did end up knocking on pretty much straight after for themselves as well. Josh Hill, he's actually had a very good game for a youngster alongside Matt Phillip. I feel like having Phillip out there with them is certainly a massive one for them. Currently now we are just waiting for the second half not the second half. We are waiting for the third session in the cricket to start between Pakistan and Australia. And like I mentioned, straight after this game, we will be transferring over and we will be doing the commentary for that last couple hours that has taken place. But now the Fijian Drua, they've got this ball 10 metres out from the line, finding a nice offload to the hands of Ravovo, who's still continuing to make metres for his side. But Hobosi would also like to be able to get himself a chance here. And it's a chip and chase. The ball sits up. Great tackle from Reece Hodge. He was always committed to the man. And now stolen on the ground. Joe Powell off to Vai, who kicks it in behind. He's been taken out. But Stacey Ely, foot race here for him. Brilliantly done by Rava Talmada, who has now gone down. His ankle taken out from underneath him. 10 metres out from the line now for the Fijian Drua. And now they're getting trapped inside of their own half. They need to try and break this pattern. Currently, it's a very good working one from the Rebels. Now, Sila having a carry forward now. A good run forward. Once again, it was from Matawalu. What's the weather, or what's the game weather like? It's actually quite nice. I don't think there's any rain around, which is why so many handling errors, I guess, could be considered as more surprising. Well, that one as well. But, I mean, you're probably looking at mid-20s, maybe if they're lucky, maybe about 17, 18 degrees. I don't think there was a lot of wind either for this game, which is something that the Moana Pacifica versus Hurricanes game did have from the first game of Super Rugby Pacific round 6. Now going back across. Now Gusa with the carry, only 10 metres out from their line now. Around the side, Halborsi breaking. Not able to get through. Where is Billy? Or where in Pakistan? Or where are the Union? Is Mr. Billy? Where the Union is Mr. Billy? I believe it is, if I'm not wrong, Fiji, Mr. Billy. Am I right there with where you are from or where you are living at the moment? Do let me know. Now passing it back, Matawalu, quick hands there from, it was Sila once again now. Tried to get the pass across, popped out the back there, a little bit of pressure still on the Fijian Drua. They don't want to kick this one downfield though. Habosi now breaking the line, not able to find the offload. Now he finds it, ball on the inside. This is Fijian rugby at its finest up the middle of the field now. It's going to be Sila. No, it's put down. In fact, it was Sawala. Now going back across here for the Fijian Drua. Tamani, ball on the outside. The big number 16 now only 10 metres out from the line here. And now trying to steal that ball on the ground, unable to do so. The Fijian Druas, they are still trying to drive their way forward. Matawalu around the side. He is going to be also tackled in very emphatic fashion. Go Fijian Drua, says Tele. Is this the start of the comeback? Finds the upload or the offload up to Nagusa. And then go Fiji, says MH. Well, that one and also out 28 for the Rebels Ruthless. Now going for the cross kick. Going up in the air. Goes straight out to Ravaton Mother. Going for the corner. Wrestled down. Still just in the field of play. And it's going to be an advantage now to the Rebels against Reece Hodge. This could actually end up being a yellow card. And my mate tells me every year I have to support the Punjabi Kings in there. See, there's Flesh-in. Currently getting closer and closer. But yeah, we will be covering a majority of the IPL games, hopefully, on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. It's a knock-on, but it's going back for the initial penalty for the Fijian Drua. Double blow of the whistle. Reece Hodge is going to the bin again. That man has spent more time off the field than on it this season. And he is going away. 3 Englishmen at the Punjab Kings. The bowling is questionable. And there says Sebastian, a little bit of push and shove there, but Reece Hodge, he's going, why me again? Every time I've had a red card, I've had a yellow card, I've had another yellow card, I've had another yellow card. But in the end, Reece Hodge, he did end up going for that ball. The hand on the ground was what ended up costing him from being able to turn that ball over, which is why he did end up with the penalty and also the yellow card. Taking the quick tap now for the Fijian Drua straight through. And Sawala scores the try, the first try of the match. He's Punjabi. Makes me watch them. And there says Flesh. And so I guess at least at this stage, you're going to have a couple watch-along buddies at this point in time because we are planning on doing quite a few of those ones. That's if you can stand listening to me talk for 3.5 hours all about the IPL. If you can, it's the place to be. We'll go like that. And we will go like that as well. And it was Salawa who was able to score the first try of the match for the Fijian Drua. Now, I'm just going to quickly mention the Fijian Drua scored themselves 3 tries in 5 minutes up against the Reds. The reason I say that is because if they score 2 more tries, they're right back in this match. And I'll say, yes, Fiji, try. And there as well. Now lining it up, Teller is able to convert and now making the score just that little bit closer. 13 points to 28. And yes, Fiji try. Yes, Toto, Rua Toso in there. She's a Mr. Billy for that one. Currently very nicely done by the Fijian Drua, just continuing to drive their way forward. What we're going to do, though, we're going to go to the Kiwi Lads Sport. And there, in fact, do I have it already copied and pasted? Yes, I do. There we go. We'll go like that. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lads Sport. That is the link to the channel, and we will have plenty more content coming very soon on that one, whether it is IPL, whether it is going to be NRL as well. A lot going on, and yeah, you guys can do it. Tosso. And then, geez, I wouldn't mind some hot chips. The Rebels are keeping it tight. And there is on how are they dealing with, or how are you dealing with the Italy game, Flesh? And has the pain faded away a bit? Says Sebastian. It probably had till he now gets the flashback. He'll be like thinking off to the side. Yeah, no, that wasn't a good one, was it? But Wales, I always mention it. Six Nations 2020, little knock on there from the Fijian Drua, 2021 champions. So that's good. For Wales. I remember I had to do that at the very start of the season as well. Like people were a bit sad with Wales' performance, and I just showed the last year's table and they just smile. As Armani said, come on, Roy and Hamish, this 15-point lead will be enough, or Fiji can come back. Generally in rugby, this point lead is enough for 10 minutes. It normally would be, but the Fijian Drua, the way that they play the game of rugby, if they don't drop the ball too many more times, because that has been something that's really cost them a Reece Hodge yellow card, and he did get another one in this match. But now Maiwa, the reserve lock, Daniel Maiwa, it is out on the field, ready to go. 7 minutes, 40 seconds left. It looks like Josh Hill might be a little bit staggery at the moment. So he's off for the HIA at this stage. Okay, he looks a little bit confused here. Doesn't quite look like he knows what is going on. So I would assume that he might not be back next week for the next game for the Rebels. And they've got some good opposition coming up soon. In fact, I don't even know if they play next week, the Rebels. I think they've actually got a week off. James Tuttle, and it will be Joe Powell off the field here as well. So that might be an injury-related thing alongside, I would say, possibly a couple changes that they are making just to try and balance out their side a little bit more. All the Fijians can do now is prevent the Rebels from getting the bonus point. And there's Sebastian. Now the Rebels charging forward once again here. Andrew Callaway trying to leapfrog over the opposition. Matt Tamua, one more ball. And I do see that they've actually got their number 23 out on the field here now for the Rebels rather than Waihu. Now, Matt Phillip, good carry forward, 20 metres out for the line now. Tuttle flicks it through his legs, straight into the hands of Matt Tamua. Hanson, the replacement hooker, is getting a little bit more of an opportunity to kick him home from. It was, oh, no advantage to going back for the penalty here. So now I think Matt Tamua wants the corner by the looks of him here. So, yep, he is kicking for the corner. They want the bonus point here for the Rebels. And it's whether or not the Rebels can get themselves that bonus point. But scrum penalty 7 against the Drua is certainly not a number that they will want to remember anytime soon or look back on, because you would be looking back on it with a lot of regret. And not really luckily, I was in Porto as I watched it in a local bar, and I put it on for myself and 2 other Welsh fans. So no, Mickey, talking English mates. That's probably a benefit. I assume you would have gotten quite a few messages straight after, wouldn't you? Like from random people that you probably haven't heard of or heard from in like 5 months or something. And they're just like, huh? And you're like, oh, yeah, nice to see you. Glad to see that you're still popping in every once in a while. We get that sometimes. For like if the All Blacks lose or something, like everyone just comes in and goes like, huh, how do you feel? And I'm like, I'm all right. Like it was a good game around the side there. Hanson, just a metre short of the line now. I'm looking around for big Kobus Eloff. Normally he likes scoring himself tries, and he's going to be the first receiver here by the looks of it. Do they pop it up to him? Yes, they do. For Kobus Eloff, leg drive, scores it, does he? I think he did. Yes, he does. And Kobus Eloff scores again. He has scored too many tries for a prop. 140 kgs, and don't worry, Flesh, and we lost 3 out of 5 games. I'm proud of either. And there, but that is going to be big Kobus Eloff taking that bonus point straight back. He says, you're not having that. I will be taking that. Thank you very much. But 70 minutes in now, Kobus Eloff scores a try. Brilliantly done by the big prop. I mentioned him as one of the players to watch. He certainly is, because he just keeps on going and going and going. But currently now the Australians making their way back out onto the field, I will mention, for the Pakistan versus Australia test match, which is what we will be covering in a very short moment as well. And that will be straight after this match does end up concluding. So we'll go like that, and we will go like as well. But the big man, Kobus Eloff, goes over, scores another try, and now 71 minutes in. It's very nicely done by the Rebels. Still another 4 minutes left that they have got a yellow card as well here. But the Drua, if they get themselves another try, they cancel out that bonus point. It's a battle with the bonus points as we currently sit. Who is going to be able to cancel out whose bonus point? Seems to be the big question on everyone's mind. And also people are upset that we finished in 3rd. I think we should consider ourselves lucky, given that's the 4th place at defeating us, Scotland. Yeah, Scotland, they seem to be, I guess at the moment, a bit of a 50-50 side. Either they play like absolutely brilliantly, or they do play a little bit rough. Like that game between England and Scotland was an extremely close one. That is for sure. Also, Hamish, I Google Fiji, and I'm surprised their normal people dresses are made of leaves and trees are the era when humans invented fire. Have you visited Fiji? And they said clothing. I have not. I would have loved to. I think my family went to Fiji a little while ago. But I think I was busy with something else, so I wasn't actually able to go with them, unfortunately. But you know, maybe one day I can make my way over there. And the first thing is we're only really bad against Ireland and Italy. The other 3 we're close. And there's his flesh. And see, that's the thing. They were very unlucky. Like 4 points lost to Wales, 4-point loss to France. Everyone goes, oh, but France won. But like Wales deserve credit in that game because they kept it extremely close and almost were able to pull off that upset. Yeah, the Scots are either hot or cold. And there says David the Mod. Now going back into the hands. Once again, Sela finds the offload. And it seems like FIJIAN DRUA at the moment, they're playing bonus point tennis with the Rebels. Can they cancel it out again? This time selling the dummy on the inside. Finds the offload as well beautifully into the hands of Akinaveri. Now 25 metres out trying to step. Finds the offload up to Matawalu Teller. Now out the back line. Big carry forward from Nasila Silly. He's only been out there for a little bit of time and he's already had a majority of the carries when it comes to the locks at this stage. Now pass now back across. Now Gursa with the wide cutout pass. Flat ball wasn't for. They're going to check it out. Akinaveri though might have just scored. And I think that will be what they are looking at. And also what's the ref's name? And this is Mr. Billy. One moment. I will wait till they show him again. Or Australia taking the new ball in the cricket as well, I should mention. I think they've given that as a try. Okay. I think for now it is going to be the try. I don't think they're checking that last pass. It was close to flat in that one, but it's a nicely done one by Ikanaveri, and I'll just quickly add that, and then I will get you the name that they have got as well. But the Rebels, they just need to stop the Fijian Drua from scoring a couple tries because it keeps on ruining their points differential and also that chance of the bonus point, which they are certainly after at this point in time. But it is going to be Ikanaveri. He's been looking sensational since coming off the bench as well, I will mention. He's just been breaking through every tackle that he needs to. So it is the Rebels, the referee for this game. It is Jordan Way in charge of this one. They've said it's borderline offside for Ikanaveri in that one. Okay, forward is the comment from the commentator. So they have said that maybe it is going to be, well, I mean, they haven't actually picked up on it for the commentators, and also the massive Welsh overreaction in the press is in full swing. Says Flesh in there, and also we've got the ref is Jordan Way, only his second or third Super Rugby game. And there as well, but now Fun Nick will be out on the field, and that is replacing Kobus Eloff, just scores tries for fun. I got a notification on your stream in 7 minutes, Pakistan versus Australia. It is coming up very soon for our next one. And also New Ball says David the Mod, and also good game in Ireland is beat. It's a challenge to regain their top form for next contest. That is true, because they are going to have to play up against the All Blacks. And then after that, we've got the World Cup just around the corner. Fiji now driving their way forward beautifully. Matawalu finds the offload. Ravovo scores the try between the sticks, and it's another try for the Fijian Drua. And they've just done that again. And also, I've got the Fijian Drua get on the score, or to get on scoreboard immediately to qualify for the bonus point. And they've just done it again, the Fijian Drua. They scored their last try in the 74th. They've scored that one in the 75th minute. And it was none other than Ravovo, who was just able to get that offload. This is Fijian rugby at its finest, and it is coming straight to us in the Super Rugby competition, that is for sure. This gets the offload after offload after offload, straight between the sticks, scores the try, and says thanks very much for coming. The Fijian Drua within 10. Also 3 tries in 5 minutes again. And now, well, my respect, Fijian Drua, and great turnout by the Fijians tonight. It does look like they did have quite a few in attendance for this game, which is pretty awesome to see. But that will be the yellow card of Research finish now for them. That was off the edge for Pakistan. They need 151 runs to win. That's doable for them. Definitely if they keep on getting boundaries. This one could be a very close finish in the cricket alongside this. So we will be covering the cricket straight after this live stream does end up finishing. But it's his debut Super Rugby try. Ravovo just got it beautifully. And like they're saying, it's desperation play from the Fijian Drua, but they're just on fire currently. Ball popped on the inside to Matawalu. Links up with Ravovo, who knew he was going all the way to score at the end of the game. So another 3 minutes left. If the Fijian Drua get another try, they have got a chance to win this one. If they don't get themselves the win and do get one more try, though, they will get themselves the bonus point on this matchup. And Hamish, which player is the most international goal equivalent in football and rugby? So that would be a try scoring record, or tricky one to be able to name the exact player. I know that a lot of wingers are normally right up there now. Big run forward from Ikanaveri. Great tackle from Andrew Callaway, though, with some great defense here. Well, the Welsh football team is defiantly better than the poor rugby side in there as well, says Emily. Well, that one now, flat ball. It's a knock on there from the Fijian Drua. It sits up Tuttle. He's just short of the line by half an inch. Ball pops out the back. Now it's going to be the number 23, also short. I think there was a knock on the ground, but they will be going around the side here by the looks of it, trying to wrestle their way over the line, trying to flatline themselves down. It's a try for the Rebels, or is it? Okay, he's given it, but they're going upstairs, so this will use up just a little bit more time, and Rebels getting tired. And there says Mr. Billy, although they were gifted that chance when they did end up knocking that ball on there. And there's a Japan player who's 69 international tries. In fact, yeah, it's actually one of the smaller nations who have got the most, I think, if I'm not wrong. And that's true, says Fleishan. Well, that one is all right. They are checking for the double movement. We've got a minute and a half left in this one. Currently, the Rebels, This would take the bonus point way out of reach here. And John Alumi with 15 tries, I think. And there's Sebastian. Oh, swinging arm almost. It was an awkward fall for Matawalu. Not quite able to get it over the line there in the end. And then after that, did end up... Okay, you'd argue that could be... Is it considered second movement or is it still the same one? Because if it's not considered as the second movement, that's going to be the try to Cameron Orr. It's a tricky one to call. Well, John will break the try scoring record. And as us says Emily, did he get it down? Okay, potential knock on. That was the one that I called initially. So they're going to be checking that one. Alomu was a rocket, though. It was unbelievable what that guy could do on the wing. And Hamish's goals called as tries in rugby. Pretty much, yeah, different, but the same concept, I guess. So, yeah, if you score a goal similar to scoring a try, if you did have to find the nearest comparison between the two sides, that's a good shot once again for Pakistan. Another 4 runs. I think they're going after it here. Jonas a freak in there. So I would call that a knock on the ground. Okay, they've said it's not a knock on, and he's getting 5 points for a try in Union and 4 in Rugby League. The try stands. And that one, so it is going to be now Cameron Orr who scores himself a try. Another prop for them, but 78 minutes through. I believe they'll almost have just enough time for one more kickoff here. And now the Fijian Drua are in that situation that if the Rebels really want to go for it, if they get one more try, they get themselves the bonus point, and there's nothing to lose other than a lot more stamina because it's been a very fast-paced game because the Fijian Drua can't get within 7 depending on whether or not this kick goes over, of course, although I think even with that kick going over, they'll still be fine in that regard. Yeah, they will be. So you might as well, just go for it a little bit. I guess, see how you go for the Rebels. They'll be receiving the kickoff, I believe. Might as well see if you can get yourself that bonus point. Could be the difference between them making the top 8 and missing out on the top 8 there as well. But currently 13 points difference between the two sides. And also, Hamish, you speak all the time. And live stream, sometimes you take a break. I got a feeling that stream is paused. Yeah, no, I just need to breathe. It's pretty much the way of describing it. Oh, not a popular situation there for Matt Tamua. He's just waiting for the time to tick down just a little bit further. And that's actually the home crowd who are booing him for this one. See, this isn't good for Matt Tamua. He's going to be waiting for as long as possible. So he's got 60 seconds. See, I feel like this is a unsportsmanship moment here a little bit. And like he was saying, you still got a kickoff, so you might as well just kick it. And I'm surprised. I would have thought the Rebels would go for... Okay, they've got that one over. I'm confused. You've got a 15-point lead. You literally cannot lose this game in your own time, Big Matt. And the other side of it is now, if they do decide they want to go for that bonus point, they obviously don't want it, which I guess sums up pretty much their season, the Rebels overall, unfortunately. It's the fact that they don't have that, I guess, aggression and that attacking nature to try and win games. Yes, they've won this one, but at the end of the day, Matt Phillips going to take that catch, and I believe they're just going to kick this one into touch by the looks of it. Was it forward pass? Now kicking it downfield from Wilkin. It's going close to the touchline. The Fijian Drua, they try and keep the ball, and it's gone out. And play better next time draw. Although 27 points in this game was pretty good for the Fijian Drua from where they were sitting in this game. But that is going to be the end of the match. A weird way to end it, you could say, but 42 points to 27. See, they were actually going for it a little bit there. If they had more time, if Matt Tamua didn't take so long, they could have had that line out. And then they could have had another attacking opportunity. But they just decided the day was done. The win was made. And now they are going to be getting themselves their first win on the board. No bonus point for the Rebels in this one as well. But nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this match live stream. We have got the Pakistan versus Australia match coming extremely soon now, ladies and gentlemen. And that will be, and in fact, we're probably going to start a little bit earlier than we are initially anticipated to. So we're probably starting around 11:40, maybe a bit earlier than that. As I said, be sure to check that out when we do transfer over. We'll also keep you guys updated with what's happening in the matchup between the Waratahs. Oh, sorry, it is actually going to be, that's another 4 in the cricket. That's nicely hit down the ground from Shazir Khan. Yeah, between Pakistan and Australia, and also Western Force taking on the Brumbies, and also 2 very exciting games tonight, and rest your throat for next match. And this is MH Choi, but yeah, we will be coming back pretty much straight away. I will just be refilling my glass, and then we are here ready to go for the match between Pakistan and Australia. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all in a very short moment. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And also, we have got the Hamish, when your Google AdSense came on your YouTube channel, any delay or it came really fast. I think we had to wait about 2 or 3 weeks for the little email code to come through. An excellent call, Hamish, says David the Mod. So we will see you a little bit later on, mate, for the cricket. But it looks like it's heating up currently. And that one, Babur Azam and Sajid Khan doing not too badly. Well, that's but I will see you all